live. Hi everyone. I'm just gonna wait for a few people to join. Let's see who's gonna join today. I did not publicly announce this live, so let's see if anyone joins today. I probably should have written a post about it, but y'all know how that go. So I am officially live right now. It is, what time is it right now? It's 4:55 over here. So I'm gonna see who else is gonna join, and if no one joins, that's okay. Just wanted to say hi, pop in and say hi to y'all. I've been a little busy this week. This week has been really hectic for us. Oh, two people joined. Hi, whoever joined, welcome to my moving live. Well, I ain't moving. I ain't packing in here. I ain't packing. Not packing. If you're new, my name is Romy. I go live at least once a week these days. Hey, hi Jen. How are you? How's your weekend going? I'm gonna wait for a few more people to join. Oh, we got a few people up in here. Hey y'all, hi people. How y'all doing? I hope everyone's doing well on this beautiful weekend. Yeah, hi Isabel, how are you? Okay, y'all joining. I wasn't sure. Like, to be honest with y'all, like, when I tell y'all this week has been kicking my butt, like I've been getting my butt kicked this week. I hope everyone's week is going well. My week is long. My week has been so long. As you can see by the title of this vlog, we are moving. This is my last live in this apartment. Last live, y'all. Last live in this apartment. I'm so excited. I think for me, I don't even have my mic on. Like, when I tell y'all everything is packed, like literally I'm gonna show you guys, but Dami's on the floor right now, so I don't want to film him. But y'all, when I tell y'all I have been going through it this week, moving is not for the faint of heart. I would tell y'all that right now. I have moved a lot in this lifetime that I've been on this earth. And every time I move, it gets worse and worse and worse. I don't know if it's just me, but I really don't like moving. But this time, you see, before, let me tell y'all something. Okay. Hello, welcome to the chat, y'all. Hey, Tyra. Hi, y'all. Hi, everybody. Okay. But hey, Tyra, how you doing? Everybody who's on this live, welcome. I want to shout all of y'all out. So this live is just gonna be more of me talking and then Q&A. If y'all got questions to ask me, I don't really have any material to give today because it's just more of a live, because next week I'm not gonna be able to go live, y'all. I'm gonna be missing. I'm going ghost. Your girl going ghost. I'm going dark starting tonight. So this is my last video until, let me check my calendar, y'all. Let me tell y'all the next time I'm gonna be up here. But if you're on the Discord, I might pop in here and there because it's easier for me to chat this week. This week, when I tell y'all I'm done, I can't do nothing. My capacity, you see, okay. Going to miss you to go by fast. It will, right? My capacity, let's say here. Thanks, Tyra. It's already going by fast. Okay, I'm gonna explain to y'all what's going on. So this is usually my capacity for the week. Like, usually I have a lot of room. Like, I'm here. So I'm like, doing vlogs, doing whatever. This week, my capacity is like here. I'm literally at the border. When I tell you I was so stressful moving yesterday was so stressful. And we moved, like, we're doing, how can I explain this? Like, we're gonna show you our new house, by the way, once it's furnished. Probably just show you guys a little bit here and there because, we don't want people knowing where we live. Victoria is very small. So if I show y'all where I live, like if I even show y'all the area, people will know where we live. And we kind of want to keep that low key, but we can kind of show y'all the neighborhood and maybe show you a little bit of our apartment. But it's really beautiful. Like, I love our new area. We have windows. We actually have a bedroom. We're living in a studio right now. I'm gonna show y'all what the studio looks like as soon as Dom leaves because he's resting right now. But I'm like, when I tell y'all, like, this week has been hard. Yesterday, like this whole full week, basically, I was packing. And then on top of that, I still gotta work. I had to train someone for the last 2 weeks. Shout out to her though, she's really cool. But they got me training people, y'all. Yeah, be careful, girl. I'm so happy for you guys. Thanks, Tyra. Thank you. Oh, hi, Dad. Y'all, my dad is on this live. Hi, Dad. How are you? Hey, Dad. I haven't, y'all, this is embarrassing. I ain't even talked to my dad yet. But yes, we're moving, and when, like, honestly, hi, little mama, how you doing? Hey, yeah, we're moving. Oh, thank you. I know I keep saying we're moving like a record, like we're moving. Like y'all, when I tell y'all this week, yeah. So I was packing this week. Dom is preparing for his competition. I was training someone. I had to train someone this week, and it was extensive training. Like I was training her from like 8 to 4 because that's usually our schedule. And then on top of that, I was sick. Y'all remember I was sick the past like 2 weeks ago or whatever. So I was still recovering from that. And then now my mom is also moving. So I'm glad my dad, hey dad, they're moving as well. So they're moving to another province. So then it's been crazy hectic. And so now yesterday we ended up getting these movers. They were amazing. They were awesome. If you're in the Victoria area, I would highly recommend, if you need a mover, you should contact Ouch My Back. That's the name of the movers. Ouch My Back, like literally like ouch, OUCH my back. MYBACK. They were amazing, amazing. They did such a great job, and it was like we paid these movers, and they did the damn thing. I ain't gonna lie. And I used to be a cheapo. I ain't gonna lie, cause I told them, hey man, we could just rent a U-Haul. Just rent a U-Haul. We just gonna do the move. But now I'm realizing that nah, the luxury of having a mover is way better. By the way, U-Haul actually now they right? It's literally called Ouch My Back. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all. Cause it's a business, so I could show y'all. They were really good. I know, Ouch My Back, no joke. That's their name. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all that. Let me show y'all. Ouch My Back. Right here. They are a really good company. They quoted us very fairly. And to be honest with y'all, like other companies, they was tripping. Hold on, let me tell y'all something about these moving companies. Except for them, they was good. They were really good. Other companies quoted me, like I remember one company, I was laughing because I was like, damn. Okay, so we're in Victoria. Saanich 10 is maybe like 15 minutes away from here. It's a little up a little bit. And they were like, oh yeah, like we could do a quote for you. I'm not gonna say their name, but they were like, we could definitely transport or move, help you move, but we're gonna charge you for mileage. They're like, after 2 hours, every extra mile that the driver goes is gonna be blah blah blah. And then they were like, we're gonna charge extra for fuel. I said, oh hell no, y'all tripping. First of all, why am I paying for your fuel? Like that don't make no sense. I get it. I'm gonna pay for your fuel if it's a flat rate, but they were like, no, you're gonna pay for our fuel for every, like if the move goes over 2 hours. And y'all already know moves take a lot of time. Like sometimes, you know, you don't know how much things you have and how heavy things are, and you have to unscrew them. And sometimes they can't fit through the hallways and through the door frames. So nah, I was like, oh hell no. So then they only charged us, like I think the flat rate was, I know it's expensive, y'all. It's expensive, but it's Canadian dollars. Flat rate was like 530 Canadian, which is to US. It ended up being 368 USD. And then yeah, no, they was tripping. I was like, oh no, I'm not. Once I heard like after this, like let me tell y'all, my brain just went. As soon as they were like, oh yeah, after the 2 hours, then we're gonna charge you more for every mile. I said, y'all could keep that. Good. Y'all got y'all clientele. I'm happy. It's great to have a business. Good. But as for me, I'm not doing that, because whenever people tell you they're gonna charge you extra for every mile, whatever, forget about it. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Oh, my dad's laughing. I don't have time for it. So yeah, so I ended up going with Ouch My Back. They gave us the fairest rate, and they were really nice. And honestly, like it was a really good move. No issues with the movers. They knew how to pack our stuff. They knew how to shrink wrap and bubble wrap and do all that stuff, and nothing ended up being broken. We didn't have to tell them. You know, sometimes you low-key watching the movers and you're like, what y'all doing? But I didn't have to worry about that. They knew what they were doing, very professional, and they wanted to set stuff up for her. They're like, as soon as they helped us move to our new place, they're like, do you need us to set up anything? Like, they were amazing. So y'all use them. Ouch My Back if you're in the Victoria area and you need to move. So have you guys gotten most of the stuff? I'm gonna show y'all, but Thomas, okay, I'm gonna show y'all this side. Dom is on the other side, so I'm gonna show y'all. Here, look at this. The house is Literally empty. I used to have stuff on the balcony. Y'all remember whenever y'all would see my video. Oh, well, we still got stuff. We got this stuff. Just my suitcases, but then empty. I have to clean everything. And then, hold on, let me move away from Dawn. I'm gonna squeeze over this way. Hold on, I'm gonna show y'all. Look at this. Empty. It's almost empty. We just have plates. Do you feel emotional leaving? Girl, no. I'm happy. I'm gonna tell y'all why I'm happy. Almost done. Dom is gonna pack these up last because he still eats a lot. And all we have left, we still have some things in here because again, Dom eats a lot. But oh, and we still have our silverware we have to get rid of. But I'm gonna show y'all the empty places. Hold on. My closet, empty, only clothes for the week. And I'm gonna pack these clothes up tonight, but all my other clothes are already in the other apartment. And then bathroom is empty, y'all. Y'all can finally see our bathroom. Oh, it's a little, if it's a little messy, sorry. So this is what I use, but, oh, ooh, let me not bang on these walls for these folks though. Empty. A little bit left, but pretty much empty. And Dom's gonna do his own clothes, so he gonna fold his own clothes. But pretty much everything is done. We just have to finish taking these out tonight. We're gonna bring these back to the new place, and then we're done. And then I just have to do this on Wednesday night, and then our TV. So we're out of here, y'all. We are done. Oh yeah, here at the top, you don't even see anything here. Oh, sorry, I forgot to show y'all more things. Hold on. Here, this is empty. See, gone. Done. Everything is pretty much done. And then, oh, our shoe rack at the front. Y'all, this is our whole apartment. I'm gonna show y'all. Hold on. This is, hold on, y'all. My husband sleeping on the floor. He about to go to the gym. Shoes are done. Everything's done. So I can show y'all what it looked like. No, he is not passed out. He is just taking a nap. I don't know why he's on the floor. We have a bed, but whatever. Our bed is in here. I will show you guys when we move out. It's a fold out bed. This is a studio, y'all. This is where I've been filming this whole time. One window, y'all. This is it. Nothing else. I don't have no other windows. So yeah, it's been hard this whole year, but I will say, you know, I'm happy that I stayed here because you gotta have humble beginnings. When I moved from Korea, and I'm gonna talk about that, y'all. When we left Korea, your girl had to start from scratch. Y'all ever saw the Martin? Y'all know the Martin TV show? I don't know if y'all have ever watched it. It's a nice space, but we pay a hefty price for it. I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm gonna give y'all the rundown. So, and thanks, Tyra. Yeah, it is a nice place. I'm gonna give y'all the rundown. So, when I first left Korea in 2023, March, before March, I didn't even have a place secured when I moved here. I stayed at an Airbnb for like 2 weeks, scrambling to find an apartment because it is so hard to find a place when you're abroad. I called so many people. They didn't pick up my calls. As soon as they found out I couldn't go for a viewing, so what would happen is I would email a place and then I'd be like, hey, can I have a virtual viewing? Radio silence. They thought I was a scammer, y'all. And then I had to explain to people like, hey, I'm actually moving to Victoria, so I just need to find a place. They were like, no, you got to come and view the place. And I get it because obviously they need to see you, make sure that you're the real person. But it was so tough. And so what I ended up having to do was that I had to move here. So I went to Toronto for a few weeks to spend time with my family. Then I came to Victoria. I started work on March 27, 2023. I found my place by... Hold on, I stayed at an Airbnb for like a week. Yeah, a week. And then I got into my new place by, no, I lied. I started work March 23rd, 2023. And then I stayed at an Airbnb for like a week and some change, almost 2 weeks. And then during those 2 weeks, y'all, I was scrambling, calling apartments, going to viewings, checking everything out. Most of them, you know, I saw them and I was like, nah, I don't want them. And then I found this place and it was not too far from my job. It was pretty close. It was $16.99 a month, which is okay. Like, it's pretty reasonable for the area that I'm in because where I'm at is like in the middle of uptown. There's uptown and downtown. I'm like, I work downtown, so it takes me like maybe 10 minutes to get to work. Pretty decent place. And there's like a huge, like a big mall, shopping mall close by. And then there's like right in the middle of the city. Who y'all? So $16.99. That's what I was paying in 2023. If you convert it to US dollars, it's about 1,182. But anyways, it's for a studio though. But it was built. This studio was built in. This building was built, I think they said 2022. So it's still pretty new, right? Everything's pretty spanking new. Now, in 2023, I ended up securing the place. I was so happy, y'all, because this was the last apartment they had, and it was the biggest one. The biggest studio size, because they have two studios. They have the smaller one and the bigger one. I was blessed and I got the bigger studio. It's not bad in US dollars, but for you gotta remember, Tyra, I had just came from Korea. Thank God I got my pension. So in Korea, in case most of y'all don't know, when you work in Korea, you get a pension, and you're paying towards a pension like everyone has to, especially as an English teacher. And what happens is that at the end, when you're about to move back home, they ask you if you want to cash out on your pension or if you would like to keep it for when you retire. So you're able to cash it out twice. You can cash it out if you move to another country or move back to your country, and then you can cash it out when you retire. So what would happen is Canada would contact Korea and be like, hey, one of our citizens was working with you guys or worked in Korea for like, I don't know, X amount of years. And then they'd be able to coordinate on my pension amount. It served its purpose, and now it's time to upgrade. I'm so happy for you guys. Thank you, little mama. Yes, that's the point I'm getting at. So when I got my pension, y'all, I came to Canada with at least, I would say I had 5K, and then we had saved, remember, we had an apartment over there too. So that's already 10K. So I had 5K for my pension, 5K for our deposit at that apartment. That's 10K. And then we had some money saved up. So I would say at least Dom and I, and Dom had his last paychecks and everything. So I would say we at least had like almost like, I want to say roughly 14K. We were pretty okay, to be honest with you. And that's only because when we lived in Korea, we didn't pay that much for rent. Rent in Korea was like 550,000 won. 550,000 won, which is about like, I think in USD at the time, it's like maybe 350, 400 USD or something like that. So it was pretty cheap for a 2-bedroom. Like y'all saw my apartment. Y'all can go back in the videos. Y'all check it out. So then we were able to save money, and food is super cheap, or was super cheap in Korea. So we were able to save money a lot more, and I didn't have to pay more. We probably would have had a lot more money, but you know, I spoiled my students a lot, spending money where I wasn't supposed to, but it is what it is. Anyways, point is that when I first moved to Canada, you have to pay first. So how it works in Canada is if you want to get an apartment, you have to pay a deposit, which is half a month of your rent. So I paid $849. And in Victoria, I don't know about other cities in Canada. I think other cities in Canada do it too. If you sign a 13-month lease, you get your first month free. So I didn't pay rent for a month. I just paid the deposit. That was a blessing, because at that time I was by myself, and Dom was still in Korea working. So he was sending your girl money. You know, I was living the soft girl life over here because he was sending me money so I could pay the rent. And then the rest of the money we would save and stuff like that. So yeah, anyway, we ended up getting this place. It served its purpose, and we're so happy. However, little mama, you had asked me why, what did you ask me? You just asked me, do I feel emotional about leaving? No, I don't, because in the 2 years that I've been here, it's almost embarking on 2 years, this area hasn't gotten better. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, let me tell y'all something. I'm trying to say this to be very sensitive. I have to be extremely sensitive with what I'm going to say right now. Our cities in Canada are not doing very well, and it's because we have a lot of mentally ill people. And unfortunately, when you have a lot of mentally ill people that also abuse substances, it kind of makes the area a little hard to live in. Lil Mama said, and you said they had the nerve to... Girl, I'm about to get on that. I'm happy you said that. So when you live, because we live in... Let me show y'all in the map, because you know, your girl got time today. So I'm going to show you guys on the map. And again, but next time I'll screen share. I'm still trying to learn this laptop that I have. Is I upgraded. So I'm still trying to learn it a little bit and see how I can screen share. But y'all get the point. So... I'm gonna show y'all the area so y'all could kind of get a gist of it. So downtown Victoria. I'm gonna put Pandora because that's the area. No, it's okay. I'm not doxing myself. And anyway, I don't live here no more, so I don't care. I can dox myself all I want to. Hey, where they gonna find me, girl? And plus, this building is very secure. So let me tell y'all about this building. This building, that's one thing I like about it. You walk in, you gotta press the you gotta have a sensor thing. When you get to the elevator, you gotta have a sensor to go up, or somebody has to buzz you in. You cannot go if you press any floor. You're not gonna move nowhere. Like you're literally gonna be stuck. And people know who's who, right? So you know when somebody belongs somewhere or doesn't, right? So it's a pretty decent place. The only thing is, like, again, little mama, I'm about to mention it. The rent. Like that guy with the beard said, the rent is too damn high. The rent is high. Okay, so here we go. Victoria. What was I saying? Oh yeah, downtown. Downtown Victoria to uptown. I'm gonna show y'all. I'm not gonna dox myself, don't worry. So here we go. All right, let me show y'all where we at. So here, this is downtown Victoria here. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, I could just use this. What am I doing? Okay, here we go. Hold on a second, y'all. Hold on. Why is Google doing this to me? Okay, let me try again. Why are you laughing, honey? Hold on. Okay, let's try it again. There we go. All right, this is downtown Victoria. This area right here, Pandora, Johnson, this is where the action, it'd be very active in this area. Let's just put it that way, okay? So this is the area where it's active, but mind you, I don't live far from here. It's only an 11-minute bus ride. Not that far, okay? And here, this is where all of the, these are where all of the malls are. There's like a mall around here and shopping center, and it's very like crowded and public access is too accessible. So you're gonna see a lot of interesting characters around. Let's just put it that way. And again, they don't bother nobody. As far as I know in this area, they just there, they exist, no problem. However, I will say that there's a lot of traffic around here. And for me, I'm like, nah, this ain't gonna work too much. Right now it's okay. But because it's a developing area and they're trying to build, like, they're trying to gentrify it basically. And they're building new condos and the mall is getting upgraded. The mall is upgraded here, but then they're building more amenities. They're gonna have a huge bus station over here. And unfortunately, with that brings a lot of crowds. And so it started to get crowded around here. Your girl don't like crowds, okay? I escaped Toronto for the crowds. I've escaped Montreal for the crowds. I've escaped Korea for the crowds. So I don't want to live in Vancouver because of the crowds. I'm trying to live a peaceful, your girl is on her grown, peaceful vibe. I'm trying to be in the suburbs or somewhere where there's families, children, and dogs. That's where I'm at right now at my age, at my big age, right? So I don't want to be around the riffraff. I don't want to be around. The other day, let me show y'all what was going on right at the light at my street. I'm going to show y'all. The car, let me see if I can find it because Dom sent me the video. Little mama said, it's good, you know what you want. I want to move soon once I secure my funds, but I have no clue where to go, LOL. You'll find it. Trust me, sis. You'll find it. Trust me. Because, sorry about that. You'll find it, and I'm going to let you know why you'll find it. Is because when I didn't know where I wanted to move, mind you, like, before I met Dom, I had moved to, I used to move around. Your girl used to move every year. I didn't like staying in the same apartment. That was in my 20s. I was crazy, y'all. I moved like in Montreal alone. I think I moved about 4 or 5 times while I was living in Montreal. That was within the 8 years I was there. And when I moved to Toronto, I didn't move that much because I was living with my mom and my sisters and stuff. So, and my sister and my brothers. So we were more stable. And then when I moved to Korea, I moved a few times. I moved to different cities. Your girl's always been moving. Let's just put it that way. But you'll know, like, don't worry about, like, not knowing, because eventually you'll find something, you'll research, and then you'll kind of be like, okay, this place looks good. And then sometimes, God kind of gives you the direction. I'm a believer that God does give you the direction, and then you'll just figure out where you want to go. But let me show y'all this video. Let me see if I can find it. on YouTube. Police car chase Victoria. No tires. Let me see if I could find it. There was a man. Y'all, okay, look at y'all brother-in-law right there. Dropping peanut butter. Look at y'all brother-in-law right here. You want to say hi to them, honey?
Bye.
Hi, bye. You're not saying bye. Okay, is this the one? Hold on a second. Oh no, that's Texas. Oh, let me turn the camera back on me. Y'all saw y'all brother dropping peanut butter, y'all. Hold on. Let me see if I could find this. There was a police chase down the street. If Dom didn't send me the video, I wouldn't have believed it. I'm gonna try to find it because it was on Instagram. Oh, here it is. Hold on. Is it this one? Hold on. I think it's this one. Is it this one? The man with the one tire. Y'all, there was a man who drove a truck who was swerving the police with one tire. No, that's not the one. I'm trying to find it. It was on Instagram, I remember. Let me see if I can find it. Dang, YouTube don't be having updated videos. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna try to find it on Instagram. Let me see if I can log into my Instagram from my laptop. Y'all would not believe it. This man in broad daylight, y'all, right there on the intersection. Do people own Pew Pew in Canada? No, it's very okay, we gonna get to that. I'm gonna answer that question, little mama. I'm gonna answer that question. But what I will say is this. Hold on. Y'all, I forgot my Instagram password. Okay, let me try to find it on Google. Google will have it. All right, let's check Google. Police chase Victoria, BC. Okay. Stolen pickup. Yeah, this one. I found it. Y'all, when I tell y'all this man had one tire right down the street from here. How far was it, honey? It was like maybe a minute or two away from here, right at the intersection. And it was in broad daylight. And Dom saw it in person. And I'm like, oh my God, my husband could have gotten hit by a car because, you know, when we take the bus to work, because like we don't need to drive our cars. Parking is expensive. There's no need for us to drive our car. We live like 10 minutes away. So literally the car was full on going on a police chase in broad daylight, right up the street. And Dom saw it in full motion in that area, like full. Also, I'm gonna show y'all the video, don't worry. And then also that traffic light is so dangerous because you know when there's a flashing in Canada we have flashing lights. I'm sure y'all got the same one. I mean, we're all using the same traffic lights, right? And if you make a left turn, sorry for my Brits, I know y'all drive on the other side of the road, but anyway, if you make a left turn, like there's a flashing left turn light, it's supposed to be there to let people take a left turn. However, at the most busiest intersection on Douglas, there's no flashing light, flash I guess green light that lets people go. So you have to basically turn when traffic is oncoming traffic stops coming, you turn. However, people run the red. In that area, I say within the last few months, there's been at least 3-4 accidents. No joke, I'm not even exaggerating. And every time I go out there, you just see full-on police cars. And I was tired of having a heart attack every time I go there. I'd be like, is that my man? Who is there? Is that my mama? Because my mama lived down the street. I used to be so scared. And I'm like, you know what? No, this place is getting too dangerous, too crowded. Yeah, we're not going to do that. So hold on, I'm going to show y'all. Let me show y'all this police chase. Hold on, let me see if, hold on, the ads is showing. Let me show y'all. Let me try to do a full screen to show y'all what's happening here. It was that car. Look at this guy with one tire. Hold on, let me be quiet because it goes so fast. Let me see if I have the noise. Look at this, okay? Y'all gonna pay attention. Y'all gonna see one tire car. This was right at my street. Look at that. Look at that man. Look at this. People were walking right there. Wait, it was what?
Three-wheel car.
It was a 3-wheel car, sorry. But he lost the wheel, okay. But this was in broad daylight, y'all. Look at this man. Look at that. Right in the middle of the day. And then look at the police chasing behind him. Hold on. I gotta show this again, because y'all gotta see what I'm talking about. Hold on. I don't know why they're showing all these ads.
The police couldn't find him.
They couldn't find him. Look at this. He almost hit that car. There were pedestrians about to walk. Look at that. Right by my street. Literally, I live right there. And then look at this. The police couldn't even find him.
And
This
they,
is
they posted they need help.
yeah, of course, because this area, I don't know what's going on. Hell no, girl, it is. Let me tell you something. Living here, I have realized I was wrong about white people, my white friends, my white folks. I was wrong about y'all. I was wrong. I already knew, but you got to remember, I grew up in more diverse areas, and then also when I was living, okay, so in case you're new here, I grew up in Florida, hence my accent and my American mannerisms. From the age of 4 until the age of 18, I grew up in the great US of A. However, I was born in Canada, in Montreal. So from 0 to 4, Montreal. From 4 to 18, Florida. And then from 18, so on, between Canada and Korea. Okay, this was my life. All right, so I've lived in many different areas. Now, when I lived in South Florida, it's a little different in Canada, because in South Florida, I feel like we're very racially segregated in South Florida. So it's like the blacks live here, the white people live there, and the Hispanics live there. Hey, CFT, how you doing? How you doing? Welcome, sis, welcome. I am well, and I'm moving. So yeah, so it's segregated, right? So I did have white friends. I did, have friends in school, but my neighborhood was predominantly African-American / Haitian, okay? That's it. And we had a little, we had some Panyos, some Spanish people mixed in there, but it was predominantly black area. Now, when I moved to Canada, that's when I realized, oh, thank you, sis, thank you. We're going to show y'all the videos. This week, in case you just came here, this week, I will not be posting this week. I have to take a week off because, your girl got a lot going on. We got to move. We have a lot of stuff going on. Dom is going to update his video tomorrow, and then he's going to go dark. But he only uploads once a week, so for him, he's fine. But for me, I'm going dark for a week. But I'll be back the first week of February, so after the 1st. So the 3rd, I think I'll come back and drop a video on the 4th. So anywho, when I moved to Montreal was when I really started to live around different types of people, because even though I lived in Montreal North, it was all Haitian. Oh, your birthday! I knew it was your birthday because I was like, isn't that Tyra's birthday? I almost said it too. I'm glad you reminded me. Oh, we on Discord. We gonna celebrate. I'll be on Discord for that day. Yes. What time? You said do what you have to do. Take your time. Moving is no joke, right? I'm taking a week off. Yeah, because we gotta really settle in, and I gotta focus. Y'all know my attention span. I gotta make sure I'm focused. But yeah, so when I lived in Montreal, it was predominantly black areas, a lot of Haitians in that area. However, there was, the white people was mixed in. So in Canada, it's a lot different. It's less segregated, I would say, as compared to when I lived in America. I felt like America, you could see the segregation. Like, I don't know about you guys where you live, but especially in South Florida, like, hell, I graduated from a school called Plantation High School. Like, let me be real. Let me tell y'all where I grew up in Sunrise, Florida, but the city next to Sunrise, Florida was Plantation. And it used to be a plantation, and they never changed the name. Y'all gonna sit on that. My school used to have a mascot that was a colonel. I'm gonna show y'all. People probably think I'm playing. Hold on. Let me show y'all. Let me show y'all. This is how crazy it was. this is where I grew up. Yeah, America is very segregated. It's very segregated compared to Canada. Now, I'm not saying that Canada isn't segregated. I'm just saying it's different. It's like when you go to a diverse area, it's truly diverse. Like, everybody's kind of mixed in together. You know what I mean? Girl, Plantation High. Yeah, let me show. Yeah, I might see my name here too, but I'm just joking. Plantation High School. This is the high school I graduated from. Not only is there Plantation High, there's a Plantation Elementary School and Plantation Middle School and Plantation High School. And then there's also South Plantation High School. I wish I was joking. This was my high school, y'all. This is my alma mater. This is the school I grew up going to. This was the school I went to. And we changed our mascot to the C. But it used to literally be a freaking colonel. Like, no joke. Hold on. This R is Plantation Colonels. Let me see if I could find the colonel mascot. Yeah, this was the old mascot. Right here is the colonel. And then they changed it to a C. Yes. Broward County, y'all. No joke. So that's where I grew up at. Bye, honey. See you later. Have a good workout. My man working hard, y'all. He competing. And we're going to show you guys the competition, by the way. It's going to be on his channel, and I'll show a little bit on here. But anywho, let me stop yapping about that. So yeah, Plantation High School. So when I moved to Canada, that's when I started to really live around different types of people for real. And I was like, oh my God, there's different nationalities, different races, which I always knew about, but it was like so crazy to be living around them. That's my high school's mascot to this day. Y'all, wait, you went to Plantation? Hold up. Carlina, did you go to Plantation? Let me know. But yeah, that's the mascot. So yeah, like that's how I grew up. And then when I went to Montreal, yeah, it was a little less segregated. And then when I moved to Toronto, that's really when it was like my building, literally when we lived in Scarborough. The first house we had was in Malvern, in that area. And it was pretty black, but still like there were other people trickled in. No, LOL. Oh, Hephzibah High School. Oh, school in Georgia. You see? They all had the same mascot. I'm not surprised. Georgia is just as bad as Florida. Back in the past. I don't know if it's changed. But I left Florida since 2004. So hell, I just revealed my age, of course. Like I'm about to be 39, y'all. But I left Florida in 2004. So it's been a long time since I moved out. I still have family there. My brother still lives there. But yeah, like it's very segregated when I went to high school. Like as far as like living in the same quarters as the wealthy folks. And it was so crazy because growing up in Florida, I mean, you know, in my neighborhood, you could tell the differences. Like when you go to Sawgrass was like a really nice area, or Plantation Acres. That's where people lived, where they had money. You could tell the money was different. You could tell when when we would ride the school bus, as soon as we left school, it would like be like a different, like we would go this way and all the white kids on the school bus would go that way. And you don't notice it. You didn't notice it as much because you were children, but when I got older, I started to notice it. Because when I moved to Montreal, that's why again I'm gonna start talking about it. Because when you move somewhere else, that's when you notice how different America is compared to other countries. CFT said, Romy, just curious, did you like Florida? Did you see the preferential treatment with blacks and Spanish folks? Oh, that's a good question, CFT. So, I would say that when I was there, it wasn't as bad as it is now. Because I moved to Florida in 1991, around that time. We moved to Florida like 1991, exactly, 1991. I left Florida, so between 1991 to 2004, that's when I was there. And at that time, we did have a lot of Hispanic folks. However, it's not like how it is now. I think now it's gotten a little bit more where there would be preferential treatment, because one of my friends told me that there are jobs like you have to speak Spanish. If you don't speak Spanish, they won't hire you. There's a lot of colorism going on. We're going to talk about it. Let's be real. We're going to talk about it. There's a lot of colorism in Miami. I remember South Beach. Like, people used to go to South Beach for fun. Like, we were high school. We're not far from Miami Beach. So, we used to go for fun. I don't remember people not getting into clubs because they're black. Like, it used to be different. It was a different time back then. I feel like back then people, and you got to remember, we didn't have the internet. I didn't have no internet like that. I mean, we did, but at that time was AOL. I'm revealing my age, y'all. At that time, there was AOL. I started working, let me tell y'all, I started working in 2002. Around 2000, no, earlier than that. I think I started working 2001. I've been there before. Yeah. Like, I started working 2001. And I remember when I was working, like, it was like everybody was cool. Like, everybody was cool with each other. There was no, like, you're Hispanic, so I can't be your friend. Or you're black, I can't be your friend. It was like everybody was just chilling. Like, I think social media really wrecked us for real. Because I'm just being honest, y'all. When I was growing up, everyone kind of hung out together. Yeah, we didn't live in the same areas, but we all just hung out together. I would have Hispanic friends, black friends, white friends. There was no issue as far as like you not getting hired because, like, of course there's always racism everywhere, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't as prominent as now, where it's like the colorism is out of control. You get what I mean? Like, where certain people of certain hues, they don't want to hire you because of your race, or you don't speak this language, or you're not one of them. It's so different now, and I'm noticing that it's way different than when I grew up. And I think it's because social media allows a lot of cliquish behavior, and you start to get indoctrinated. Like, even now in America was not like that when I was growing up. I mean, people were still ignorant. I'll be honest. People was mad ignorant, regardless. However, I would say when I was growing up, the ignorance was at a low because I feel like people were more educated, I would say. Or maybe you just didn't notice it because social media wasn't there to highlight the stupidity of people. However, I have noticed that the differences are stark. Like last time I went back to Florida was in 2000. I went for a friend's wedding. Actually, it was my ex's wedding, yo. But he was a church friend, okay? He was a church boyfriend, I should say. And he's a little church boyfriend. I dated him for like 2 months. And I broke up with him for the most dumbest reason. I was like, he too boring for me. That was terrible, y'all. I was such a bad girl. Yeah, humanity has been on the decline since this because they're high. I told Dom the other day. I said the dumber people are, the more children they have. I'm sorry, y'all. It's the truth. Smart people are not breeding children. The dumb ones are. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. I don't care anymore. Nowadays, 2025, I've decided to be unfiltered. And if people get angry and upset with what I say, I don't care no more. Because I'm sick of it. I've got it. I've had it up to here. The dumbest, ignorant people. And I'm not saying all people who have multiple children are dumb. I'm not saying that. Obviously, my mom had 6 kids. Like, I'm not saying that before somebody say, oh, she said everybody who got a lot of kids are dumb. No. What I'm trying to say, though, is these days, people are not raising all the kids that they're breeding. They're not raising them. How can you? How can you? Especially, you got to remember, my mom had 6 kids. Correct. However, she had a husband who actually gave a damn about his kids. And he was in the chat. Hi, Dad, if you're still here. My dad took care of us. Yeah, my dad's not perfect, obviously. My parents aren't perfect. I can say that. Obviously, we're a family still. But when I say when it came down to being a dad, my dad was very active. As far as he was there for us. He fed us, clothed us. He made sure that we were disciplined. My brothers, let me tell y'all, the only reason my brothers are not banging, not on drugs, not doing some crazy shicey stuff, and they treat their wives wives. They're not even married, y'all. I'm calling it into existence. But my brothers treat their girls well. I should say their girlfriends, and or fiancés, whatever y'all wanna call it. But my brothers have never been arrested because my dad was present. Yeah, if you're married and financially capable as a couple and ready, then have as many babies as you please. Right. So even though my mom and dad probably weren't the richest as far as financially, they were okay raising us. That's why you have a Romy. That's why you have a Marsha. That's why you have my brothers. Intelligent, smart, educated. We were able to be okay. And my dad was able to support us on one income at that time. In the 90s, one income. Was able to support his kids. And what I'm trying to say is this. When you have all those kids, you need to be present. My dad was present. If my mom, what they did is this. Like I said, my parents aren't perfect. They're still Haitian. And Haitian people, Lord, if you have Haitian parents, you already know. If you have African parents, you understand. Even African-American parents, Caribbean parents, whatever. Black is black regardless. I can even throw Hispanics in there. Y'all know how parents can be. But what I can say is we give credit where credit is due. You have a father and a man who stepped up, married his wife, married my mom, had kids, and was there. So how my parents did it was all of us. If my mom was home, my dad was working. And if my dad was home, my mom was working. One parent was always in the house. We never, ever, ever. And I can guarantee you the only time we stayed alone was one when my sister turned 13 and after school it was like a few hours and it would be like maybe 2 hours or so and we watched our siblings. However, what I will say though is, with Haitian parents there's always a little bit of favoritism towards the boys, but it was more my mom than my dad. My dad did not care. Equal opportunity for all the kids, but my mom was more like, her son, my sons, how that is. Yup, wife her before impregnating her, marry before you carry. Absolutely, Tyra. Amen. And I think that is why, obviously, growing up in a household where I had 2 parents that were active in my life. I didn't have an absentee father ever. And it was so crazy because when I was younger and I would tell people I have siblings, I'd be like, oh, I got 4 brothers and a sister. They'd be like, all the same dad. And I was so confused. And I was like, why wouldn't we have the same dad? But at the time, you could see that that's where things were going. The reason I ask, because I know people in South Florida who have struggled and were forced to leave. They couldn't find jobs, not careers, due to their color of their dark hue. Yeah, CFT, they're right. It is. There's a lot of colorism going on now. It wasn't like that back in the day. But now you got to understand, okay, I'm going to keep it real. Like I said, I don't care no more. Let's open Pandora's box because, you know, and since the American president wants to stop DEI initiatives, and since he wants to, you know, and other companies are suing behind, and we could already see where the climate is going, we gonna talk about it. And as somebody who grew up in America, I am very, 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 very experienced in the sense that, like, I can give my experience from the 90s up until 2004. I have family still there. I have friends still there. So we're going to talk about it. What I will say is this. When you get a certain immigrant group of people from a different country, and that's why I focus so much on culture on this channel, because you got to understand the psyche of who you're dealing with. You're not just dealing with people who have your best interests at heart. And one thing I would say about Black people, and I don't want us to lose this, is we love people. We always accept everyone because we know what it's like to be at the bottom, and we know what it's like to be shunned upon. We know what it's like to be the weakest link. And you would never want that feeling. You would never want other people to have that feeling. We have such an amazing heart as a people. Of course, there are evil Black people out there, so don't come into the comments talking about, not every Black person. I don't need to hear it. But what I will say is this. When you have a certain group of immigrant people who have that mindset from when they're the colonial mindset, because you got to remember, their country's messed up too in the sense that, like, they've been exposed to colonialism, imperialism, most non-white countries, even white countries. Hell, Norway and other countries used to have so many wars. Like, this is nothing new. We are always accepting of others. We need to be more exclusive like other groups, though. I agree. And I think that's the only way the tides are going to turn. Because let me tell you, even in Europe, I remember I was watching this video by Tim Wise. Y'all should look him up. He's amazing, so educated, so smart. And he was talking about race relations. And he said that people were fighting in Europe too. Countries don't like each other. Okay? Norway and England and Ireland. They all fighting each other. Okay? Why do you think the Vikings were doing wars and stuff like that? It's because they had to protect themselves. Okay? From other white folks. It is nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. People were always the Jews and the Palestinians, this person and this person, the whites and the blacks. There's always some infighting. So now, when you come from a country where you were colonialized and there's imperialism and there's a hierarchy, caste system, any country where there's a caste system and a hierarchy of color, you are going to have racist people come into this country. So what they do, and I don't care, like I said, you can call me wrong. I know I'm not wrong. Prove me wrong. When they come to this country from another country, they slowly start to build up. And they start low. But then as soon as one person gets a white collar job, because usually everyone starts kind of even level, unless you're on a certain visa where you were like maybe a tech, like, you know, in IT or whatever, then you come here and you get a visa, that's okay. But what I'm trying to say is once you come to a position of power where you can actually make decisions on who gets hired, who gets on board, you're going to see the whole place turn into that person's race. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Sorry, y'all, I'm closing my blinds. I couldn't even say it here. Tell me I'm lying. Sorry. My window is getting on my nerves. Tell me I'm lying. When one person gets a position of power within an organization and they are in charge of hiring, hire Creative Bar. How you doing, sis? And they're in charge of hiring somebody. Other races of people who have from a country that has a system of hierarchy, or people who are non-melanated, they will hire their own people. That is, I don't care what nobody says. So that's why in South Florida, you're going to see a whole bunch of people from a certain country. And it's not just, because they are from that race. Okay, I'm going to give y'all, there's a hierarchy to it. Tyra says, so true. I worked at Target a few years ago and it was all Latinos in management. They treated me horribly. There you go. Because once one gets in, and it's not, let me tell y'all, this is usually, it's cultural. They got to take care of each other. And like I said, you could do what you want to do. However, we have laws against that. That is why DEI exists. That is why equality, equitable, equality, whatever it's called, diversity, equity, and diversity, equity initiatives. Y'all know what EOCC, whatever the acronyms are. Basically equal opportunity employment. That is why it exists. Because unfortunately, when you have people who come from countries where there's a caste system and there's a system of hierarchy, as a black person, you're always going to be at the lowest bottom. You're the weakest link. You're not smart enough to them. You're not good enough. Your color is not good enough. You are just basically, you're nothing. You're nothing. So then, when you try to get into establishments where there's a POC in charge, if that person comes from a country where they don't like your kind, you're not gonna get hired. And if you get hired, they're not gonna like you. Particularly Cubans in South Florida. Someone could not speak a lick of English and they find a job tomorrow. Boom. We're gonna wake it up. It's true. And so now, when you have people from MAGA, because this is the thing, MAGA is a whole nother breed. It's not conservatism. This is like ultra conservatism, ultra right. Just like you have the ultra left, you have the ultra right. So I don't want people to be like, oh, conservatives are all evil. No, not all. What I would say is your ideology. Okay, how can I say it? I'm trying to watch my words here because y'all know I'm still employed, okay? I ain't trying to have people dox me or whatever. But what I want to say is this. When you have people with the ideology that you're lazy, you're good for nothing, you're thugs, you're not smart, and you know you are. Because obviously black people, we are raised around other black people. So we know there's good black people and bad black people. Just like, to answer your question, Tyra, I know all of this is in a circle to go back to Victoria. I know that there are some crazy, crazy, crazy white folks. Some ghetto, gutter white folks. But then there are some good ones too. So now, how is it that I can know this as a person, but other people can't? They can't see it because they don't live around us. They don't live around us. In America, I should say. So then when you don't live around people who don't look like you, and you've never been around people, you don't have friends who look a different color, all your friend group, you grew up with the same people, you're gonna have these stereotypes of other people. And when people come from different countries, they click up. That's what they do. They click up. So if you come from, I'm gonna give an example, just randomly, I'm not trying to say but if you come from Nicaragua or Cuba, you're not gonna befriend a black person because in your country, a black person is a no-go. You're an N-word, you're nobody. So why would I befriend you? I'm gonna befriend other people from my community so we can lift each other up. We gonna get each other the positions. And when that person gets hired, this person gets hired, and this person, and then we take over. That's what it's called, a takeover. Okay, interactionist theory. Whatever labels are placed on groups of people is what the dominant society goes with. Boom! Tyra, you sang. And you gave us a theory. Thank you. Extra credit, guys. Extra credit. So now, you got people in power. They're only going to look out for their best interest. Now we have, they called it, what did they say? They said that, ain't that what Biden said? It said the U.S. is being taken over by technocrats. I think that's what it's called now. He's only going to look out for the interests of his technocratic friends, his billionaire friends. That's how it works. At Tyra, and that is why I said social media is a big issue. People use their platforms to enforce and prepare those ideas. Exactly. And so now they, like people, especially people within different communities that believe that you're good for nothing. You're good for nothing, especially if you're a woman of color. They will treat you like you're good for nothing and they won't hire you. Unless it's for a low-wage job, or if they hire you, they won't pay you your worth. Let's talk about that. You're going to be treated horribly. They're not going to like you. They have a disdain for you. So what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? And then on top of that, we don't own anything. We don't. We don't have the power at all. And even if we do, I remember there was a woman. Let me look it up. She was trying to start like a tech. I forgot what it's called. It's like the people who loan people money. Oh man, I'll be forgetting the words. But then an organization went after her because she was only targeting black women. There used to be a time when we didn't give value to stuff on the internet. Now it's inseparable to people's lives now. People are, that's why I said dumbness breeds dumbness. I'm sorry. I have to say it. It was the startup, but it's a type of startup. Oh, I lost it in my head. Y'all, my memory's gone sometimes. I need to start, like, I think for me, what happened is ever since I left Korea, it's like my brain is jumbled, y'all. Like, it's like, it took me a while to even learn how to write a proper email in English again because I took 6 years, mind you, 6 years away. And it's like, I didn't hear English on a regular. I would hear it sometimes, but it's real. It's real. It's so real. And imagine 6 years away. I'm literally 2 years in Canada and I'm still forgetting little words that I used to know. My vocabulary used to be so impeccable, y'all. I used to know these large words. Now it's like, because you're not practicing all the time, right? So now I have to start reading books again just so I could learn big words again, y'all. Because I watch myself sometimes like, Bobby uses some simple language, y'all. But anyway, that's besides the point. That's not what I'm hearing. It was like a startup, you're right. But startup for black women controversy. It was a woman. I forgot her name. Oh, yeah, here. Thank you. You see, I love AI for this. Look at this. A year ago, a conservative group sued Atlanta-based venture capital, that was the thing, venture capital firm Fearless Fund and its foundation over 20,000 grant contest designed to help black women founders, alleging the contest is discriminatory. A federal appeals court panel has put the contest on hold as the lawsuit winds its way in the courts. So black women entrepreneurs fear attacks on DEI funding. These are the folks you're dealing with. So when they do it, it's cool. But when you do it, it's a problem. Catch that. Oh yeah, I'm talking tonight. I'm at 56 minutes, so we're going to talk all day because I'm not going to be here next week. I'm going to keep talking. I might even talk until Dom comes home from the gym. And y'all know he be going to the gym for 2 hours, so buckle up. I don't know what time it is over there where you at, but I'm going to be talking till I get tired, okay? At least 1 more hour. So, Fearless Fund. Let's look it up. I know what I'm talking about, y'all. I know what I'm talking about. Because when I look at this stuff, just because I stay quiet, I don't say nothing, but I'm going to be talking now. Because I was out of the country. So there was a lot of things going on I didn't talk about because I was like, okay, cool. I just had dinner taking Christmas tree down. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. I heard Jennifer Lopez was against the Fearless Fund organization too. It's strange that she's not against Hispanic business funding organizations. CFT, exactly. She was. And she's like, oh, why are Latina women not included in it? First of all, a Latina woman can be black too. Hello, Afro-Latina. You tucked in, little mama? Get your bedtime story up. 2025 is finna be a ride. I'm telling y'all, like, this year is going to be the, last year was the, I have to bring the heat. Thank you, Her Creative Mind. This is what's going on. It's been going on. Even in Korea. Oh, y'all think it's just America? I wish I had my mic, but it's okay. Korea. Let's talk about it. Again, dumb people breed dumb people. If your parents were stupid and you turned out smart, thank God for that. You had wisdom. Racists breed racists. Now, of course, they're going to tell you, I wasn't racist even though my parents were racist. You were still raised by a racist. Good luck. It's going to come up. Because people are selfish, ignorant. Those two things, and it's not just a minority because before it was contained. Because at least people were educated. But then when you have, you know what? Let's talk about it. We're gonna take a little story time. I'm gonna talk to y'all about it. And I think I was supposed to answer someone's question. I think it was Lil Mama. I'm gonna check your question again. I think you had asked me a question. I said I'm gonna get back to you on that. And then I forgot the question. You see that's how quickly I forget. But venture capitalist funding for minorities. Okay. Let me see if I could find it. No, let me put, specific, for Asians. Here, let me see if I can find it. Anyway, I'm gonna try to find it. But there was venture capitalist funding available for Hispanic people, Asian people. I think the other group was like, of course, people with disabilities, no problem with that. And for anyone else. But when black people do it, it's a problem. It's always a problem. Affirmative action. Hello? Black people don't even benefit the most from affirmative action. White women do. Asians did too. But yet, because people thought that, oh, black people are getting an easy ride. Let me tell y'all, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm being honest. They hate us leveling up. That's where I'm getting at, Tyra. When you start to be somewhere where they think you're not supposed to be, this is what's going to happen. Edward Bloom is a lawyer that went against the Fearless Fund in the affirmative action case too, I believe. You're right, Eminem. It was him, a Jewish man. Because he couldn't stand the thought of seeing black folks in higher positions. Because they think that they're giving it to us. DEI is the reason why we're getting more educated. Not because we're smart. Let me tell you something. Affirmative action did not give me my education. Affirmative action did not give me my job. As much as people like to say things like that. If anything, I have to work twice as hard just to get a little piece of the pie. Insulting our intelligence. That's the most insulting thing for someone to tell you. You only got where you are because of handouts and some quota and not because of your ability. Yeah. Y'all are intelligent. Y'all be telling me what y'all do for a living and I'm like, wow. Some of you guys have been to Ivy League schools. Some of you guys have a lot of education. You're in so many different fields. But when you go on places, in places like Twitter or social media, the echo chamber is loud. And it says that you don't deserve it. You only got it because you're DEI. You only got it. And then when you remove that, guess what? They found out black people were still getting accepted at the same rate. Why? Because we have to work twice as hard. What are we talking about? Sorry to yell at y'all, not y'all. Do you all remember the rhetoric that was going around at mainstream media for affirmative action? Exactly. It's died down. Why? They took it away. And guess who's the most affected by it? Asian Americans and women, white women. We're still getting accepted at the same rate. Why? Why? Y'all don't believe me? Let me read the comments. Sorry. LOL, yeah. I was laughing so hard at that. LOL, they thought it would hurt us with that shit. Someone that was trying to get it removed literally said it was the black people. They called us out by name. I was like, no, sir. Let me find out the man's name. It was, girl. Let me tell y'all something. They said, I'm trying to find the article, but I remember they said that admission went down for black students. And it wasn't because of affirmative action. It's because black students were choosing to go to HBCUs and elsewhere. They're trying to get the trades. We're pivoting. And what people don't understand, and this is where the conversation is going now, because I'm glad we brought up this conversation because I was going to segue into it, but I segued faster than I thought. What I'm trying to tell y'all is this. Whenever they move the goalposts, it don't matter because we've always had to fight for what we have. That's why we can make things shake. And they thought slavery was going to fail us. It never. We still rose and still I rise. Was that Maya Angelou? I don't remember who wrote that poem. Was it Maya Angelou? I believe so. Segregation. Still I rise. Redlining. Still I rise. Education. They tried to do the No Child Left Behind. All these little tests or whatever, trying to put us, not giving us the proper funding to have good schools, and still I rise. They made it hard for people to get a second education, raising the financial aid that you receive from other from countries, from institutions. They made it they make it so hard for you to go to school now. It's difficult. It's hard. It's hard if you're a person who doesn't have money like that. You got to pay at least a 20. Well, at least in Canada, it's a little better. That's what we're going to get to. I know people who are paying at least student loans at least $50,000 and more. Okay? Like, this is not a joke. Imagine graduating from school and having that much debt in your name and you're only 24 years old. That don't make no sense. And you got to repay that. So now, and again, I know some people are like, it's not just black students, black, white students too. Yes, I understand that. But however, what I will say is that at least you still have, I'm telling y'all, some people recognize it and they don't. When you approach somebody and you're a poor white person, they're not going to see that you're poor. They'll just see you're white first. Period. When I approach somebody, my skin color always it's apparent. I cannot hide that. That is who I am. So my experiences are different from yours. So anywho, let's get back to it. What I'm trying to say is that every time they move the goalposts, right now they're trying to remove DEI. No problem. You know what's going to happen? Every day. And you know what? It's okay. It's okay. They're always going to remove the goalposts. Thank God Canada's like that. I ain't like that. I'm going to tell y'all. But my American family, I call y'all family. My American family. And if you're a person who is marginalized, listen up closely to what I'm about to say right now. Do not be discouraged and keep doing what you're supposed to do. Because no matter what happens, you still gonna rise. How about the interest that accumulates with the student loan? A student will never be done paying it back. Exactly. I'm gonna talk about that right now. And you know what? Like I said, they keep moving the goalposts because they're seeing that more black people are being successful. And I think a mistake that we made, and y'all could disagree with me, is that social media, we were highlighting our success too much and they didn't like it. They didn't like it. They didn't like it. And I'm not just talking about black folks, even other people of color, they don't like it. They don't like it. The establishment. I'm not talking about just white people, I would say. I'm talking about the people at the top. Because believe it or not, I know people are like, oh, why would like poor white people vote against their interests or those who are middle class? They're, like I'm telling you, they're not the enemy. So I don't want y'all to believe that they're the enemy. I can't fault them. That is what they've been sold. So you can't blame them. I know some people want to say, oh, they voted back, because they want to get out of this class cycle. You got to understand, when you live in an uber capitalistic society, you want to get out of that. You don't want to be poor. I don't care what nobody says. No one wants to be poor where they can't afford the food they eat. They can't afford to live. True poverty, no one wants it. And that is why you're going to see people fighting to get to the top, because they want the dream. They want to achieve. They want to be the next. They want to be the next. They want to be the next. So you're sold the dream. If you just work hard enough, if you just put in enough work, you're going to be able to make it. That's true. Us talking about it doesn't help. They know we are on their heels now. It helps those who don't know how to level up, but it also informs the haters. Exactly. I never accepted the loans they offer me because I know I don't have any money to pay it back. I'm cheap like that. And you should be. And I wish we had learned that before. But I'm telling y'all, I've been told y'all, I'm going to give y'all the recipe. I'm about to give y'all the recipe. I'm in here 68 minutes. But I really want to say this before I get to the next part of what I'm about to say. They don't want to see you being successful. And that is whether you're black, Asian, Indian, Hispanic. Look, they use up your resources and they get you up out of here. It's been happening for years. Years. For years. This is nothing new. And when I say they, like I said, I'm not targeting, y'all know what I'm talking about. The people who have the power. That's it. That's all you got to say. People who have the power, not the people who are at the bottom rung. They can't really help you. They can't help you. We don't have an economy. We don't have like literally, I was saying that a week ago or so. There isn't a black country that has the wealth to overthrow a lot of what's going on right now. Because we're still in the cycle. We're still dealing with colonialism. Colonialist, imperialism. The motherland is still dealing with it, trying to get rid of it. They're trying. They are. but we don't own anything, especially in North America. I can't talk about other countries. Look, I can only talk about my experience here. If I go somewhere, the person who hires me does not look like me. It's very rare that the person looks like me. Tell me I'm lying. And I'm not talking about just regular restaurants, owner, like small restaurants, small business. I'm talking about real, like, white collar jobs, professional. The more you go to the top, the more you don't see yourself there as a black person. Let's just be real. And what it's doing now is that more of us are getting into that position and people are scared. Blacks are the only people treated this way, not other people. Because they don't want, because you gotta remember, and you're so right, sis, or I think I saw your name, sorry, but you're so right. Let me tell y'all something, real talk. You need to be the weakest link in this system. The capitalist system is not forgiving to anyone. It isn't. There has to be people at the bottom for it to succeed. And so unfortunately, you got to remember the people who founded this country, which means that, stole this country. Let's just be honest, because people were here first. Let's be real. The Native Americans were here first. But what I'm going to say is that the people who stole this country, you got to remember where they came from. They used to be the black people of where they're from. Indentured servants. Didn't have any money. The king took all their spoils and they were taxed up the butt, living in squalor. They had it rough, I ain't gonna lie. So when they came here, of course they're gonna start putting themselves first and they started making a little bread, and they forgot about the people. They forgot. Oh, we gonna get free labor because we can't afford to pay people. So we just gonna steal them. I feel so bad for the indigenous peoples. They were treated so wrong, even down to this day. We're going to talk about it one day. I'm telling y'all, I got a lot of series to do about culture. In Canada, it's not any different. Let's just put it that way when it comes to indigenous relations. Romy, the higher position that one is in, the higher ups try to pin us against one another, blacks against blacks. For example, I was just about to get that, so I'm glad you said that, CFT. Let me tell y'all something. When you start making money, because remember, the people, that's what they tell us, the forefathers. They ain't my forefathers. Let's just be real. The forefathers that came here from England, they were poor. I'm talking about not the presidents and stuff, but you know what I'm saying, the original folks, the pilgrims, whoever y'all want to call them, whatever. Most of them were poor, okay? They were not rich where they were from. That's why they escaped King George or whatever his name is. I don't remember, okay? And little mama, come on now. Not my forefathers. For real, it ain't my forefathers. I gotta be honest. So when they got here, I'm telling y'all, it's jealousy. Think about it. When you see Native American people living here, indigenous people, you see their land. Sorry, I want to say indigenous, my bad. Not because in America, they're Native Americans, but all over indigenous people, whoever, the people. You go to their land. Mind you, England is smaller than here. North America, you see all that land. You see all the beautiful scenery. If you go to US is one of the most spectacular countries because you could literally, and Canada, both, North America, you could literally go to one part of the country to another part of the country and have totally different landscapes. It is amazingly beautiful. And we don't even appreciate the nature enough to really look at it and really see how majestic it is. And when you get there, you're here. Right now, where you live in right now, I'm sure there's beautiful landscape where you live. Different regions, different climates. That's where the Native Americans were doing, and the indigenous people. And of course, they came here. Of course, they wanted to stay. Absolutely. If I'm living in squalor somewhere else, where you think I'm gonna come here and I'm just going? Let's use an analogy right now. Let's say that I'm super poor. I come from a poor family. Or I don't have anything back in the country where I'm at. And you invite me to stay at your house. You live in a mansion. You got cars. You got all that stuff. You got land. Life is good for you. Life is good for you. But for me, I'm under the king's thumb. But over here, y'all free. Y'all think they wanted what they had. That's it. The point of what I'm trying to say is they want what you have. You're doing better now. You're doing better than some people that are in lower classes that don't look like you. They don't like that. They don't want you to be better than them. I'm telling you. And it's messing up their money. Side note, the indigenous people out west know how to manage and take care of the lands and control the fires. But of course, the powers that be wouldn't listen to them and look at what's going on. Facts. That's what they used to do. They used to make fires just to control the fire because the land, I'm not really I'm not a person who studied like agriculture, but what I do know is that you do have to have controlled fires in order for the environment to get used to it so that it won't like spread wild and stuff like that. But that's what indigenous, they have a lot of medicine, their holistic way of doing things, the way they treated the land, we've destroyed it. And I'll add me in there because I'm also a settler. I wasn't from here, but hell, it is what it is at this point. We all settlers at one point. My point is this: they don't want you to have more than what they have. And it all boils down to, like I said, jealousy, human emotions. It never goes away. Jealousy, competition, like Tyra said. And also being that you were at the bottom for so long, they can't stand it. But they were saying the fires were natural for the environment as nutrients to the soil, but they also said you aren't supposed to let the land overgrow on its own. It has to be managed. Exactly. Everything has to be managed. I'm telling y'all, if y'all want to know how to take care of land, you better go to an indigenous person. They know when I tell, or even African people, anyone from the, I would say, anyone that knows how to treat land really well, let's just put it that way. They know how to maintain land. They know what to do. It's there. They have a lot of good practices. Indigenous people, I'm telling y'all, I wish that we had more of them in agriculture and different things. I'm telling y'all, Dev Studio, girl, I got a bone to pick with you. Hold on a second. Tyra, this is why moving in silence is key. Head down until you get there and practice safety and protecting your intellectual property. I'm going to get there. Hi at the Dev Studio. Hey, sis, let me tell you. Girl, that video. Sorry, y'all, segue real quick because I got a message for at the Dev Studio. She recommended I watch Two Gardens and a Snake. Was that what it was called? Hold on, let me see what the title of the video was. Two Gardens and a Snake? Ain't that what you sent me? Two Gardens and a Snake? Hold on a second. Let me try to find the title of the video. You recommended it to me last week on Discord and on the live. Two Gardens and a Snake. That's what it was called. Two Gardens and a Snake. Girl, I ain't been the same since I watched it. We're going to talk about it in the Discord. This week, I'm going to be busy because I got to move. But starting the week of the 3rd, I got to talk to you about it. Because when I tell you, y'all, if y'all haven't watched it, Two Gardens and a Snake. That's all I'm going to say. I watched it and my mind was blown. That's all I'm going to say. I sent it to my sister and she was like, I had to drop my Bible. I don't know what was going on. Anyways, we're going to talk about it in the Discord. Sorry, I had to segue. But anywho, my point is this. You're going to encounter a lot of people who will be jealous of you. You got to, Tyra, watch it. Oh! A lot of things make sense. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to leave it at that. Because this is another topic for another day. But what I will say is this. But I had to tell her that at the Dev Studio. Thank you for letting me watch. I'm happy I watched it. I'm glad I watched it. It was very informative. I will say that. And we're going to talk about it more in the Discord. If y'all haven't joined the Discord, please join. It's called Abracadabra Connect. I forgot to link it to the bio of this live, but I will, and y'all could catch it. It's in the bio of all my other lives. Y'all could join our Discord community. Anywho, I'm going to get back to it. Jealousy and competition. So once, like, y'all got to remember, since 2020, since 2020, I would say. No, even before that, but 2020 was really the year when, especially during COVID, hold on, let me charge I'm scared my phone's gonna go out. Especially during COVID, people were showing their lives and starting to show, social media was really, I think for me, YouTube has always been, you know, very public. People are showing their lives, whatever. But now social media is at the point where people are showing off, right? And of course, you know, we should be happy for each other. I'm not saying we shouldn't. We should be congratulating those who can make it, congratulating those who've been doing well. However, it has breeded a lot of jealousy. It has. It has. Because some people can't watch your success. They're stewing. They can't believe that you, especially if you're from a lower bottom tier person. Oh, you couldn't see it a week after. Girl, that video was crazy. But he's, let me tell you, anyways. Let's keep it at that. But yeah, we're going to talk about it in Discord. Okay, but sorry, continuing on. When you have such a life in social media and you're highlighting your highs and you're highlighting the job you work at, how much you're making, what you're doing, and you have a person watching you, because not everyone who watches you wants you to succeed. They're watching you and they're wondering how you as an N-word got it. How you as a whatever you want to fill in, if you're a marginalized person, got it. Because they don't want that. And they're thinking that DEI got you that job. And that this person, oh, because you have too much rights. Like now, oh no, we're being too free, letting you guys have something. I'm telling y'all, that's what it is. That's why they're pulling everything back, because it's like, we thought that y'all wasn't going to be able to be where we are, but now you starting to own businesses. Y'all starting to be a community. Y'all starting to not fight with each other. You're starting to be, you guys are starting to get along. You're starting to get along. They talk down to you, little mama, you're right. You're starting to get along. People are starting to build communities with each other, and they don't like it. They don't like that. We've been you that. So now you're going to see it in real time how grimy it's going to get, because we let y'all take over too long. We let y'all, get we gave y'all a little freebie here and there, but now time's up. Time's up. You're starting to educate each other. Exactly. You're starting to move abroad. People like me, you got to remember, just not even a generation ago, my parents come from one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere. Yup, little mama. Let me tell y'all, my parents come from a country, the first Black independent country in the world. 1804, Haiti. Right now, they had to prove a point. We ain't gonna let y'all N-words have nothing. When you got your freedom, that's it. Matter of fact, we had to pay France back for our freedom. That's it. Pay France back. Now, I'm not trying to I'm trying to just give y'all general information. But what I will say is this, and I'm sure all of y'all already know it, but you got to remember, they're not going to let you have it. You're doing too well. So now, Black people, even amidst crack cocaine in the 80s, the crack cocaine era, especially in America. Again, we were talking about me growing up in America. Even with the job situation, even with us living in less than ideal situations, not getting the right funding for school, people were still able to succeed. Don't get me started on Hawaii. That sounds almost like what happened to their peoples. Exactly. So now you're getting too successful. We're having too many Black people who are doing well. Not just Black people. I'm just using Black people in general. Too many of y'all doing really well. So now we got to move the goalpost again. And this is what I'm going to try to segue into, because we're all smart in this chat. Not going to let us get there without getting to fight. Good thing we came out the womb swinging. Exactly. We always going to make something shake. But this is where I'm going to get to the good parts. 83 minutes. Good. I got to drag things out because YouTube, I know they be trying to cut a sister. Because when you start talking real, that's when all weird stuff be happening. So I had to drag it out a little bit. This is where I'm going to get into the real stuff. This year, let's be for real. We all going to congregate together here. This year, don't look left. Don't look right. I've been said that. Look straight ahead. I know things are getting tough, and it ain't even been the end of January. We got a whole 4 years to go, y'all. And I'm not even in America, but it's going to affect us. February 1st, 25% tariff on Canada, 20% tariff on Canada. Already out the gate. I'm taking my advice right now too. So I'm going to tell you guys this. Yep, improve your relationship with God. Y'all tell me y'all goals y'all want to do this year. Whatever you want to achieve, you're going to do it. Get your house in order. So what I'm doing, I'm going to tell y'all what I'm doing. What I'm doing myself. One, I'm only buying from companies that give a damn about me. Costco, shout out to you. I heard Costco was the only one keeping the DI among others, but Costco was the one I heard. I knew I always liked Costco because I like how they treat their workers. I've been liked how they treated their workers. So I was like, okay, Costco, my money's going to be on you. I'm sorry, Walmart was cheaper, but F Walmart at this point. Sorry. Not sorry. Amazon, you can forget getting another shipment from me. Forget it. I'm never shipping with them again. Until they reverse what they're doing, done. Apple, I heard, is another company that supports, people that look like me. So Apple, you're going to keep getting my money. This is how we're going to move this year. You're not going to do anything that does not benefit you. You're not. Because I'm going to tell you something. It's getting to the point where everything that we've worked so hard for, and I'm talking as a collective, we've worked a lot for this, and that's all over the world. Because you got to remember, I know people like to argue and say, oh, America's not the center of the world, and listen, at the end of the day, people look at America. We all do. Whatever's going on there is going to affect all of us. Those churros at Costco are still $1, right? I don't know who's the head at Costco, but kudos to you, whoever you are. You have a lot of integrity. That's all I'm going to say. Self-serving 2025 and beyond. Yes, because you can only help others when you help yourself. If you want to travel abroad, I'm going to give you advice on that. I told you I'm going to be here till Dawn comes back, so I'm going to be here for a minute. If you want to travel abroad, live abroad, this is your perfect time to do it. Within this year, start saving up your coins, start saving up your whatever you got to do, and be out for the next 4 years. I'm telling y'all. If you can do it. If you can. If you can. Matter of fact, I recommend everybody travel or live abroad at least one point in your life. And if you can't, that's okay. You're going to stay here and you're going to do what you got to do here for the next few years and beyond. Because it's getting real out here. It's getting real. And again, I don't believe in scaring people wherever you're from. I know some of y'all from different countries are creative. I know y'all from different countries. If you're from a different country and you depend on, something from America or other countries, you're going to start supporting your local community. We got to start doing that. Support your local community. And I know that it gets frustrating because some places have cheaper prices than other places. But you got to think about it. If you don't stand for something, you never... What they said, the saying is like, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. How many times do you need to be shown that you are not worth anything to some people? And the funny thing is, if we collectively did something, we would be able to get so much further, y'all. But the problem is that people get into money, people start making things happen for themselves, and they forget about other people behind them. Because I'm telling y'all, I could have easily been that person. Been like, I don't have to show them anything on YouTube. Why I got to talk about my, give them tips on whatever. I don't need to do that. Why I need to do that? I'm just going to show you guys my beautiful life and y'all will be satisfied. No, because each one teach one. We all have to teach each other. We all need to start connecting with each other. Hence, the Discord. If you haven't joined yet, please do. But my point is this. You're going to start working on your goals. The other day, I'm going to talk about this. The other day, I signed up for life insurance. For the first time. Yeah, me and Dom were talking about it for a while. And now I'm starting to really spend my money on things that will benefit me in the future. Because right now is when I have to plant the seeds for whatever happens in the future. Because all that other stuff is irrelevant if future Romy cannot take care of herself. And you cannot trust the government. I hate to say that, but it's true. At a certain point, you're going to stop trusting other people to take care of you. You have to take care of yourself. I hope my new job gives me insurance or at least some benefits, but I doubt if I'm an intern. It's okay, little mama, you'll get there, but you're going to start looking for your own benefits. Y'all start getting term life insurance, please. If you don't have life insurance on you, that's okay. You can get term life insurance. I used to work in insurance. I'm going to give y'all a little lesson right now. We're going to talk insurance. Please start getting insurance. I don't care if let me tell y'all, the younger you are, the lower the premium you pay. There are there are 3 different types of insurance. You're going to get term, whole life, universal life, right? Get yourself, if you cannot afford whole life and universal life, because whole life and universal life are pretty pricey because they have an investment component to it. So basically how it works is this. Term, I think it's 10, 20 and more, and then they only cover you up until a certain age, right? The younger you are, the less you pay. I remember when I had term insurance, I think I was like in my early 20s, I only paid like $17 a month. I know it may seem a lot to y'all, but I'm telling y'all, in the world of insurance, you will thank yourself. In the next 10 to 20 years, at least, give yourself 10 to 20 years. I know sometimes life is hard, times are rough, but invest in insurance. I'm telling y'all, I am not sponsored, so I'm giving y'all advice here. Because if something were to ever happen to you, you don't want to be, how can I say this? I don't want to say a burden, but it's true. You don't want people to be creating GoFundMes for you. Let's just be real. And I know I'm not hating on people who do that, because desperate times call for desperate measures. But you need to start being prepared for stuff like that. And it's not just life insurance, critical illness. Please start getting into that. Start looking into critical illness insurance, because you never know what's going to happen in the future. Start preparing. I know some people don't like to talk about these things. And I remember when I was younger, my mom used to be like, don't talk about that. No, you can't talk about that. And I'm like, no, we have to prepare. And now my mom's on board, obviously. But it's like, don't wait until you're older to start getting this paperwork handled. You got to start doing that. Finances is a huge one. Let me tell y'all, the more financially stable you are, the more you can do. And the better off you will be. Because if you're living paycheck to paycheck, and listen, I know what it's like. I literally am still in student loan debt. Trust me, I'm trying to pay it off. I'm telling y'all, it is not easy. But we want ourselves to be set up for the future. You're going to start getting yourself in order. I'm telling y'all, you got to start looking into those things. Especially, let me tell y'all, especially if you're in your 20s, please start when you're young. Because the younger you are, the cheaper it'll be. And guess what? When you have, for example, term insurance is just going to cover your benefits if something were to happen to you and you were about to, you clocked out of this world, at least you would have funeral benefits and all that stuff, okay? Cool. They'll pay it out. They pay off your debt. Happy within the 10 to 20, whatever years you have for term, right? Thank you. At the Deaf Studio. Leave the big cities. Yes, we're going to get into that. So, whole life has an investment component in it. So you pay a little bit higher premium. But guess what? What you pay today, as long as you stay under that insurance coverage, whole life I'm talking about, it's not going to go any higher. So the age you bought it at, I'm 38 right now. I'm about to sign it, but they count me as 39 because they were like, oh, in insurance, every 6 months you got to be a little bit older, whatever. The age I am at 39, 69-year-old Romy is going to thank me, because that same premium is going to be the same one I pay in perpetuity until I'm 85. Yes, medical insurance is a blessing when dealing with extreme illness. I'm going to talk about it. So now, whole life, you're going to pay a little bit more, but guess what? You got an investment portion in it. Whatever the investment portion, like let's say I invest $100,000 today. I get a $100,000 benefit. You could even mix it up. You could have some whole life and some term. So then that way you can afford the premium, and then let's say you can only afford $100,000 worth of whole life insurance. And, it has compound interest, right? So then in a few years, in 20 years, 30 years, whatever, that $100,000 is no longer $100,000. Let's look it up. If today I invest $100,000, let me try to see if they could do the compound interest. For $100,000 in, let's say, when am I turning 65? Y'all know how I'm math. Hold on, 30, 60, let's say in 40 years. Let's see. $100,000 in 40 years. Okay? So, let's look at here. Okay, this is just a random calculation. To calculate the compound interest on $100,000 over 40 years, you need to know the interest rate. For example, if the interest rate is 8% per year, it's never going to be 8%, but let's just be. Then in 40 years, $100,000 will grow to approximately $2.1 million. But let's make it more realistic. Let's say compound interest of, let's be generous. Let's say 4%. That's even too high. Let's look it up. It's going to be at least $486,000. Y'all. And it goes with inflation, by the way. Get yourself some insurance if you can. Period. You need it regardless. Because we all gonna meet our maker one day. At least be smart about it. That's all I'm gonna say. So, all you're gonna do is this. Like I said, whole life has the compound interest in it. Universal life does too, but listen, it's up to you. Research it. Go to an insurance agent. They know what they're talking about. Go to a good insurance company. Talk to them. They will talk to you. They love talking to you because they want your money. So they're going to tell you whatever it is they need to tell you. They're going to tell you all of it. They're going to really go through it with you. They even have the calculators. They can tell you how much it's going to be worth in this much years. They look at the risk factor of your life. If you're healthy right now, if you're healthy, you should be having insurance, period. Because you never know. You don't know. And I don't wish it on anyone. But the way that they have things in our food, I won't be surprised if many of us are clocking out because of things like that. They have stuff in our food. We're going to get into food too. But let's talk about it. So insurance, please get yourself term or whole life or universal, whatever. But I prefer term or whole life. Some people prefer universal life. It's up to you. You're going to research it. You can even mix them together so your premiums will be a little lower. Get that critical illness, that's period upon. You will thank yourself. Why? Because let's say that you get critically ill. And hell, it could be anything. It don't even have to be the C word. It could be anything. What if you get diagnosed with a debilitating disease? You have arthritis. You have something. MS. I don't know. Make sure it covers a lot of illnesses. Why? Because think about it. How much vacation time do you get at work? How much unpaid leave do you get? First of all, if you're sick and you have a critical illness, you're not going to want to work. You're going to be tending to yourself and trying to take care of yourself and take care of your body and trying to nurse your body back to health. Imagine you're working a job where they won't let you take too much time off because that's where they're headed. And if you do get vacation time, if you only got 2 weeks, done. You don't have insurance at work that covers critical illness, done. Because guess what's going to happen? You're going to need that extra time. And they're going to tell you, well, get back to work. We don't give a fuck if you're sick. So, even if you work for a good company, listen, profits over everything. Ain't that what they tell us? You're expendable. We'll find somebody healthier to replace you. Good luck. And you're going to wish you had it. Especially if you're young and healthy. Please get it. Please. And I know some people will be like, well, I don't want to waste my money because what if I never get sick? What if you do? What if you do? What if you do? Or some people will be like, well, I'm going to make all that money in the future anyway, so I don't need insurance. Okay, cool. That's fine. But then what if you don't? And I know some people be like, oh, insurance is such a scam. You got to be smart about it. Again, everything, you got to be smart about it. That's why I'm working from home. If they decide to make me come to the office, it's over for me. Yeah, work from home. Okay, we're going to switch to jobs. Anyways, get your insurance. Critical illness, look up critical illness. Get term insurance, whole life, whatever you need to do. Protect your life for your loved ones. That's it. Or yourself. Again, if you get whole life, a certain portion of it, it's going to be worth way more in the future. You can actually cash it out. I forgot to tell you that. So you don't have to wait until you clock out. If in a few years, in 40 years, I have whole life insurance now, mind you, because there's a cash benefit to it. In a few years, you can even use it as collateral and take it out and loan money against it, borrow money against it. I'm telling y'all, look it up. You can use it as collateral. It's your money. It's your money. So then you could, if I want to retire, let's say I got my policy. I'm doing my policy from age 39 to 85. Because I said, if something happens to me, I want my husband to be straight. I don't want him to have to I don't want him to have to go and do stuff and do a GoFundMe for me. Again, no shade to people who do that, but there's only so much you can do. I want him to be like, okay, my wife left me this, or my wife And same vice versa. I don't want him to be struggling, or my future kids or whoever. I want them to be straight. Be okay. Now, you don't have to wait till you have a family to do this. And that's my biggest regret. So that's why I'm telling y'all, because I canceled my policy when I was young and I regret it till this day, y'all. I was only paying $25 and I thought that was too much. Imagine how much money I would have been sitting on at 39. Spent almost 7 years traveling the U.S. for medical care, and I have never saw a bill till this day. Hold up, what you mean, creative mind? That's a blessing if you never saw a U.S. bill, a medical bill. But let me know what you meant by that. But what I'm going to say is this. What I will say is this. Like, get your medical and your, okay, let's get into, okay, we're going to do life insurance first. So your company, whatever company you work for, should cover you for a certain amount, but make sure you have more. Boom. Talk to an insurance agent. I'm telling y'all, this is what a lot of people do. Next. Oh, full coverage. There you go. Thank you. Yes, full coverage. If, like Lil Mama mentioned, she said she's an intern. Right now, just make sure you have the basic insurance, so you don't need anything crazy. You just gonna have term insurance or something to cover you in case something happens to you. Boom. And you would think if you have debt, you need to get it. Because guess what happens when you clock out? If you clock out, your debt, it still needs to be paid eventually. I don't know how it works in different states and stuff like that. But for example, I'm married, so my debt will automatically go to my man, my husband, and I don't want that. So I'm like, nah, we gonna fix that. Anyways, get your life insurance in order. Now, because that's where all the money is at. It's there. I'm telling y'all, a lot of people use it as a tax shelter. Look it up. I'm telling y'all, I'm not, that's why I don't want to give financial advice too much, but I'll just tell y'all what I know and what I do know. And when I worked in insurance, you can use it as a tax shelter, and you can also borrow against it, and that's whole life and universal life. I actually passed the test to be an insurance agent. I just never did it. I never got into the field because when I passed it, I wasn't really passionate about it. So I was just like, oh no, I'm not gonna do it anymore. But I was practicing. I passed the exam to be an insurance agent. Absolutely. I was going through my era of trying to make extra money. Y'all was trying to make a little funds. But yeah, that's what a lot of folks do in different communities. We won't talk about that in a future video, how different communities and cultures save for and prepare. They do it. We don't. That's a problem. That's an issue. And then we wait until the last minute. Oh, you get sick. Oh, now we need to raise money. No. Have it prepared from before. Let's move on to the next subject. Healthcare. Lil Mama, you mentioned a good thing. When you work for a company, make sure they have good healthcare. I know. It seems like everyone should know this, but a lot of people don't. Make sure they have really impeccable healthcare, because if you're going to be slaving, you might as well get something out of it. And make sure they have matching programs. So if you donate $1 or you invest $1, I don't want to say donate, but you invest $1, you get it back. Easy. Same thing for if you donate money. Of course, when you donate money to charities, you could use it for your work program. You put a little, because every work program has charity. You go and donate to them, and guess what? You get the money back at the end of the year. It's a tax write-off. Donate. Put your money. I don't know if it works like that in the U.S. In Canada. If you're in Canada, I spoke about it before. Put your money in TFSA, any tax-free saving account. You better be saving in there, because you don't get taxed when you take it out. Do that. Maximize that. I'll know the details once I'm fully hired in a few weeks. Yes, and look over the paperwork. Comb through the paperwork. Read them things, y'all. Don't just sign on the spot. Be like, I know what it is. Take it home and read it, please. Read the stipulation on your contract. Check all the matching programs. Be like, oh, do you have healthcare? When do I qualify? Because some programs, they have to wait till you're out of probation in order to get it. Make sure you have healthcare. Make sure you have a lot of coverage. I'm telling y'all, you're going to need it. You will. Yes, keep in mind, in the USA, health insurance is not guaranteed. An employer can hire anyone without providing them coverage. CFT don't work there. What CFT is saying, if they don't offer you coverage, again, if you're an intern, I get it, you need the experience. If you need the experience, please go on ahead and do it. I'm not saying don't take your internship. But if they're not offering you, let's say you're seasoned, you have experience, you should not be working there if they're not offering you health care. Please do not work there. Yep, don't just look at a job for the salary. Look and ask about the benefits package. That is what's going to get you in the door. Let me tell you, I will take a pay cut. People think I'm playing. I took a big pay cut when I started working for the government here. I took a huge pay cut. But guess what? My benefits are impeccable. Went to the dentist the other day for cleaning. 100%. Don't play with it. Don't play. Don't play. My pension. They take out so much money out my paycheck for my pension. But guess what? Every time I look at that pension amount, future me gonna thank me. Future me's gonna be real happy woman. Future me's like, thank you, girl. You got that stuff. Yeah, you did that. You did that. You gotta start preparing for the future. I'm telling y'all. Don't just be the person who live in the present, but prepare for the future. I'm telling y'all, it is real out here. They could take it, they give it, they take it away. Don't depend on your job to be the one. Let me tell y'all, even though I got a pension at my job, it's secure. And when I say pension, we get government pension and we get pensions from our job. But I'm telling y'all, start saving for your own retirement. Get that high yield interest account. Start saving. Get money into stocks and keep it there. Don't be scared when the money go down. If you're a real good investor, learn how to do it. If you don't know how to do it, TikTok University got courses. Everywhere got free courses. There's a lot of free courses out there. You can even research the stuff yourself. I'm telling y'all, start researching. It is. Let me tell y'all, her creative mind. The benefits speak volumes. You're so right. If your job does not offer you benefits, please start leaving. Do not. I know it's easy to say in this economy. I get it. If you're already in a job that doesn't offer you good benefits, again, if you have to survive to stay there, stay there. Please don't just quit. I don't want nobody to say, Romy told me to quit. Listen, just make strategic moves. Okay? However, what I would say is that if going forward, you're not going to accept an offer that does not give you good benefits. If they say, oh, we don't have benefits, or we're not going to give you benefits, or the benefits are abysmal, don't even waste your time. Don't waste your time. It's a waste of time. Because again, if you're living in a country that does not have universal health care, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, U.S. is one of the only ones, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know. Out of the, G7 countries or whatever. Especially if you live in the United States of America, you better have good health coverage. Please, make sure. Because let me tell y'all something. I'm going to tell y'all a few examples right now. A little example. I know a lot of people that don't have good health coverage, or they didn't save for that, or they have no money. Medicare and Medicaid is not where you want to go. You don't want to get your funding through Medicare and Medicaid. If you get sick, first of all, the paperwork is a nightmare from what I've heard. And this is from a experienced person who went through it. I don't want to share this person's story, so I'll keep them anonymous unless they want to share it themselves. But they had to go through Medicare, Medicaid, and it was a nightmare because they didn't have money. No money. Who's going to pay for your nursing home if you get sick? Who's going to pay for your nurse? Who's going to pay for your your health care aid? Who's going to pay for that if you ain't got no benefits? If you didn't store up money? The worst thing to be retired and poor. The worst thing to be in this world is retired and poor. Being poor is hard enough. But imagine being non-working age and you're poor. Do you know how hard that is? Mad people, you can look at their experiences. They didn't save up enough when they were young. The time just flew by. And now they're realizing pension's not enough because they were banking on the government pension. And let me tell y'all, it is not that much. To survive in this economy, whatever they're giving you in your pension if government, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about government as far as your U.S. whatever. Like for us, it's Service Canada. We get OAS and CPP. Yeah, old age security. It's not enough to sustain you in inflation. And we don't have, let's put it this way. The boomers, they're done. They're done. Our workforce is aging, people not having kids. That's why they're trying to make you guys have more kids now. Now that's why they're restricting all of this, you know, these programs that are supposed to help women, all of these reproductive programs. They want you to have kids, so that's why they're stopping the you know, the abortion bans, all that stuff. They're stopping all that. They want you to keep breeding the next workforce. It's real. And so the more educated people that are not having kids, the less there's going to be to go around. Who's going to pay the pension if you're doing government pension? Let me know who's going to pay your pension. Because that's how the system works. It's people who are behind you that are supposed to pay for you when you retire, if it's a government funded pension. So then if you don't have enough people, remember the boomers, they were a large generation. Millennials were pretty okay, but now people getting less and less kids. So then who's going to be sustaining the system? Who's going to pay your retirement? You have to start saving for that. Please. Have your nest egg, because it's going to get real in 30 years or so, whenever your retirement comes up, because it will come up quickly. I trust and believe me. Trust and believe me. Next. What I was saying, I think at the Dev Studio mentioned it. Or no, CFT said, get out of big cities. Yes, get out of big cities. Get out of the big cities. If you live in a big city, it's unsustainable. It's unsustainable. If you live out west, it's unsustainable. Again, if you can afford it, no problem. But even if you can, make sure that you have enough, just enough. You have enough to do other things with it. You don't want to be a slave to your house. You don't want to be a slave to your car. You don't want to be a slave and not be able to pay off. And I know I hate using that word too, but it's the truth. That's what you are. You end up being a corporate slave or whatever. You're basically working for nothing because all your money is going to bills and debt. So we got to start getting out of there. I'm adding myself into it. So what I'm trying to say is this. Make sure your debt to income ratio isn't that high. And if you live in a city and you're like, I just want to live around my family, get out. Get out. Please. Don't stay there. Don't stay there. It's not worth it. When I lived in Toronto, at that time, the golden era, rent was okay. It was pretty affordable. But guess what? My income was able to pay for it. So I was like, okay, it's fine. But now, if I go to Toronto, even Dom and I, incomes combined, we cannot afford it. It's too expensive. Vancouver, forget it. And even where I live right now, listen. I'm telling y'all, go to a smaller city. Get out of the big cities. And if you're living right now, Victoria, again, prices are going higher. So guess what? We're moving outside of Victoria, a little bit out. Rent is cheaper. It's a little bit more affordable. You get more bang for your buck. Yes, the commute, you have to commute, but guess what? Sometimes you just got to give something up. But then again, you don't want your commute times to be so long that you're spending more time on the road than actually doing things for yourself. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to find a way to have time to be able to do different things for yourself. You don't want to be spending all your time doing mindless things, because you need to get yourself to a point where you're able to do more with the time you have and the energy. Time is money. I'm telling you, if y'all ever seen this movie, it's called In Time, INTIME. It was with Justin Timberlake and that girl from Mean Girls. I forgot her name. But that movie was such a good movie. I recommend for y'all to watch it. Basically, instead of you having a life, like, you know how we have, yes, you watch that movie, Her Creative Mind. I'm telling y'all, that movie was so good in the sense that, like, it really made you think. Instead of having a life, basically, you know how our lives, like, we have years and then we're done. In that movie, your time was your life. So when you were born with a timer. And rich people, what they would do is they would buy time. And the poor people, they had to, basically, they didn't have time. They didn't have enough time. So every time they would try to get time, it was hard for them. Like, they lived in separate places. The rich people had infinite time. They had even vaults of time. And then the poor people, once their time's up, time's up. So you would see, once people's buzzer went off, they were gone. I don't want to spoil the movie. But it made you really realize, because we think of life as in, like, we have a long amount of time. because time for us is like, we think that, oh, 30 years from now is so far. But in actuality, time is your most valuable resource. I know y'all heard that before, but it's so true. Imagine if you spend 4 hours in traffic, or 2 hours going and 2 hours coming back. That's 4 hours you wasted. You could have invested in yourself. If you live in a big city, that's 4 hours. If your commute is too long, you need to go somewhere else. I'm sorry to say that. If you can afford it, or start thinking about it. Your commute should not be taking you that long. It shouldn't take you that long to go home. And I know some people be like, well, I take the time to listen to audio, but that's great. But at the same time, I'm telling y'all, time is your most valuable resource. Whatever time you have, take it and take advantage of it. Another thing, brain, start smarting it up. Someone mentioned it. Start learning courses, start learning things on your own. Don't just think that you have to go to school to learn. School is just an institution. You can learn anything you want, any subject you want without paying a tuition. I promise you. I'm not saying don't get a degree. Y'all know how I feel about degrees. What I'm trying to say is that once you got your degree, once you're trying to get certs and stuff like that, start going to school if you need certifications. But for other things, start learning them on your own. Like gardening, I'm learning on my own. My mind always goes to the part where he was eating in the restaurant and didn't have to worry about time or money. Yeah. You don't have, that's what I'm saying. That movie is so good. I'm telling y'all, watch it if you can. Because it makes you really realize how powerful it is when you have the finances and resources to do something. And that's something I've learned once I moved to Canada. Okay, segue. When I left America, I was young. I was 18 years old. And I told my mom the other day, I told her, I was like, that was the best decision I ever made in my life. Of all the stupid things I've done and all the impulsive things I've done, going back to Canada was the best one. It was In Time, Tyra, In Time. It's called INTIME, In Time. It's with Justin Timberlake, and I think her name is Amanda Seyfried or something. She's from Mean Girls. The girl that said, if you're from Africa, why are you white? That girl. But it's a good movie. Watch it. But yeah. In Time with Justin Timberlake. Yeah, I actually really loved the movie. It was great. It was a great movie. Really meaningful. It really makes you think. So when I moved out of the US, and I told that to my brother-in-law the other day, I said, when you live outside of America, you start to see the world differently. If you've ever lived in America for an extended amount of time, I'm not talking about just visit as a tourist. I'm talking about you live there. You really see it for what it is. And you go outside and you see what can be. Your mindset changes. There's something it does to your mind. And when I left the USA for good, and I moved to Canada, and I realized that, again, Canada's not perfect. Please, by no means, please. But when I realized that, hey, I can go to the doctor and I don't have to worry about anything. Romy, why did you originally leave the US? I hope you don't mind me asking. I'm going to tell you right now. When I left the US, I was 18 years old, but I had decided to leave the US junior year. Why? Tuition. If I went to school in the US, because I was looking at schools, I wanted to go to nice schools. I was looking at Columbia. I looked at all these other schools. I really wanted to move to New York. That was really my dream. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I'm not going to hold y'all. New York was my dream. I really want to go to New York. At the time, New York was like this amazing city, right? And then September 11th happened, and I was like, ooh, this is probably not a good idea to go there, right? But when I started looking at colleges, because most of my friends in high school, okay, there were different people. So in high school, some stayed local. So if they stayed local, they went to Broward College or Miami-Dade College or FIU, which is Florida International University, or University of Miami, which is a really good school. Or they went to like one of the local BCC, I think I said Broward Community College. Yeah, local community schools, right? That was there. And then if you wanted to go outside of Fort Lauderdale, because we used to go to Orlando a lot. I've been to Disney a lot of times, y'all, by the way. So I used to be like, I used to go to Disney for trips, for school trips. I lived a pretty okay child. I'm telling y'all, back then it was lit. Living in Florida was so lit. Like literally in school, like for our like field trips, like for 5th grade field trip, like we went to Universal Studios, I think. And then I went to Disney World for family trips, and it was so fun. We used to go to Orlando all the time because it's like 4 hours away. So I've been to Disney a few times. And I've been to Universal. I've been to like so many different places. Miami Aquarium. I've been so many places, y'all. But anywho, that's neither here nor there. Disney. I need to go to the one in California. That's the one I really want to go to. But the one in Orlando is huge. Like, anyway, yeah. So, if you wanted to go outside of Fort Lauderdale, some people went to UF, which is University of Florida, another good school. Some people went to University of Central Florida, UCF. Some people went to Tallahassee, FAMU. I have a cousin who went to FAM. My brother went to FAM for like 2 years. That's Florida Agricultural Mechanical University. That's a HBCU. Some people went to so many different schools, right? And I think University of Florida is also there too. I don't remember. Orlando one, go to Orlando. Orlando's pretty good, but I heard the vibes in I heard California's a little smaller, but the one in Orlando's huge. But now it's so expensive to go to Disney, y'all. Everything is so expensive, let me tell you. But so yeah, so back to the reason why I left Florida, or why I left the US in particular, was think of it this way. This was 2003. I was looking at universities because I graduated in 2004. And because I'm still a Canadian citizen, I would still have to pay, like, if you look at a yearly, I think back then the tuition was at least like, I think it was like 4,000 to 6,000. And that was a lot to me. It was like it was up there. It was like it was like a lot of money. It was like at least 6,000 a year, right? I might even be lowballing it, but it was around 6,000 if I remember, a year. Probably more than that. No, it was way more. It was like 6 to like 7. I don't remember. But anyway, the number was high. It was at least 6 and up. I don't remember exactly, but I mean, every semester was like, I think each semester was like almost 4,000. So for me, I would pay like 8,000. I have to get financial aid because my parents can't afford to pay for me to go to school. And my parents were like, oh, we'll pay for you. Don't worry, please. Listen, this is the one thing I'll say about parents. Parents think that you don't know, like, parents be thinking you don't know their finances. You could see them talking at the table. I could see my parents look. They would literally, the bills would come. They would be on the table. My dad would open it at night, and him and my mom would whispering because they didn't want us to hear their finances. But you could hear it. You know when you sneak in, you trying to hear what they saying. You try to go to the kitchen and whatever. Please. I know they didn't have the money. Come on now, let's be real. That was smart for you to use the U.S. for Congress. I know so many people who with interest now owe $100K in student loan debt. Right. So let me tell y'all, I was paying, I think the tuition was at least 6,000 to 8,000 a year. Montreal. I got accepted to Concordia University. Guess how much I paid in tuition, y'all? And at that time, people was complaining. I only paid $900 a semester. Y'all heard me right. $900 a semester. And so I think with books and everything, it came up to like almost 1,000 something a semester. I think when I took student loans, it was like 1,500 a semester. I'm not joking. You know what? Oh, let's look it up. Let me see if I can find it. Oh yeah. And it's Canadian dollars, so it's even less in the U.S. Concordia University tuition in 2005, because I got accepted in 2004 in fall, so I ended up going to college in January of 2005. Let me see. It was, no, that's not right. That's 2005. It was like 1,500. Yeah, here we go. It was here. This is the right amount. Here, 1,160 in 2005. 1,160 Canadian. Hey, cuz, how you doing, cuz? How you doing, cuz? Love you, cuz, by the way. Y'all say hi to my cousin Sandra. She in the chat. $1,160 in Canadian dollars. Wait, hold on. No, that's wrong. Sorry. My bad, y'all. My bad. That was the wrong thing. That was a tuition trust. My bad, y'all. Hold on, let me try to find it. Sorry, y'all. That wasn't the tuition. Hold on. My bad. I was looking at 1 million something. And it's because you're a Canadian citizen, right? Yeah. Let me try. It is. Let me try to find one of my, let me see if I still can get online. Hold on. Y'all, I'm about to do something right now. I still have my login for my school. Let me see if I need my password because I'm using my phone. Hold on. Let me see if I still have my login. And, hold on. What was my password? Oh! Okay, let me try to find it. Because I have to use my phone to get my, y'all know, y'all got a little passwords and stuff. I be saving my password on my stuff. But hold on. Let me try to find the tuition. That was the wrong, sorry, I showed y'all the wrong thing. Tuition 2005. But while I'm talking, I'm gonna look for it. So it was like 1,000 something a month. No joke, y'all. I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. And so that was in 2005, y'all. Y'all gotta remember. And I remember they had a tuition hike. Let me see. Maybe I could find it. Hold on. Let me see if I could find it. They even had a strike. In 2004, they had a huge strike. I remember that because they were trying to increase the tuition in 2005. We have to pay $195 every semester for recreation center I don't even use. They make you pay for that. I liken it to HOA, y'all. It's literally the same for HOA. It's literally the same. It was like, hold on. Let me see if I could. No, this wasn't right. Oh, you know what? That's what I did. I put Canada. That's why it wasn't right. Okay, hold on. Let me find it. I'm really trying to find it for y'all, right? So, university tuition fees. No, this is Canada. I want to see Montreal. Quebec. Girl, they should make it optional. And they even make you pay for stuff you don't even use, yo. There we go. Thank you. Average, but I paid less than that, y'all. I paid way less than that. It was $1,900 in 2005. But that wasn't what I paid. I ended up paying like $1,500. I don't know if I got like, oh yeah, I got bursary. That's what it was. It was $1,900. So I got a bursary. What happened was because I was so po in the government eyes, and because my parents didn't live in Montreal at the time, they were still in Florida. They're like, okay, she's by herself. They considered me as by myself. So what they did is they gave me a bursary. So I only ended up paying like $1,500 in loans, and then they gave me like a $300 bursary or something like that. 1,000, y'all. 1,900. Does it increase if you're from the U.S.? Yes. If you're from the U.S., I remember Americans, because there were Americans at the school, they would go to McGill. So McGill is like considered the Harvard of Canada. So most students, if they were American, they would go to McGill. Some of them would go to Concordia, but they would pay like, I think at the time, it wasn't even that much though, but international students always pay a lot. I think at the time, they were probably paying like around $5,000-6,000. So that's why a lot of Americans, when I was in university, they would come to Canada to go to school because it was so much cheaper and it was affordable. And so Quebec had actually the lowest tuition fee, because if you went outside of Quebec, when I looked at York University, which I ended up going to, it was like almost double. It was like $4,000 a semester. I ended up paying like almost $4,000 a semester when I went back to school in I went back to school in 2015. 2015, yeah, end of 2015, so fall 2015. Anyway, 18-year-old me was smart, but I was making reckless decisions without knowing. I just knew, this is the funniest thing. My mind was like, because I read a lot of books and I researched a lot, I would go into school and, use the internet, AOL at the time, by the way, y'all. And I would ask Jeeves, and I would look at, encyclopedias and all that stuff. I would go to the library and check universities out. And I would look like, at the rate. And I knew I couldn't afford it. And the thing is, when I went back to Canada, I knew that I would be able, one, the tuition's lower. 2, the government gives you more. 3, there's a lot of federal, provincial and federal programs where you end up not paying that much interest after. And so I was like, it's a sweet deal. So at the time, I thought I was only going to be in Canada for like a few years just to finish university. And then I would decide where I want to live afterwards. I ended up staying. I went to Canada and I loved it. When I went to Montreal, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my God, I thought Canada was, because remember, I don't remember many things. I was 4 years old when I left. So when I went back at 18, it was like, oh my God, I love it. Everything's so convenient. It was cheaper. I could just afford to live. And also everyone lived in close proximity to each other. And so the climate environment felt different. Now, I will say that if you don't speak French, forget about Quebec. Don't even go there. I spoke French, so I was lucky enough to find work. But even then, my French wasn't the Quebecois French. And eventually I was like, no, one thing I didn't like about Montreal was like the preference for French speaking people is at an all-time high. One day I'll go over a history lesson about it, but they really don't like Anglophones. Anglophones, there's always a war between Francophones and Anglophones. Go to Montreal. It's an amazing place to visit. I will say that. But to live is a whole nother experience. But to visit, you won't be all right. You'll find what you need. Not America. Montreal has amazing food. The culture was very vibrant, very rich. People in Montreal like to have a good time. After work, they hang out with each other. They like the community aspect. So what it was though was that I felt like after a while, when I dropped out of school, so that's one, and two, it was hard for me to really sustain myself because I felt like I was getting low-wage jobs because I was an Anglophone. And even though I spoke French, it wasn't to the level of the Quebecois because I didn't have the written French. I knew how to speak French, but I didn't know how to write French. That's a lot of experiences when you were raised in a household that spoke a language, but then you don't know the language in its linguistic form. It's hard because you know how to speak it, you understand it, but then they want you to write in that language. And at the time, we didn't have ChatGPT. I couldn't cheat my way out of it, y'all. So eventually I was like, nah, this ain't gonna work for me. Yes, please come and support the Canadian economy. Thank you, please do. My highest student loan interest was 7.9. The loan was increasing by over $150 a month. That's demonic. Girl, San Payette. My cousin been to Canada too. Sandra, tell them how you like Toronto. What did you think about Toronto? She's from Florida, y'all. Thank God they are paid off. Girl, thank God. Let me tell y'all. So, I'm going to tell y'all something. Our interest rate, you see, my cousin said she loved it. She came to Toronto to visit my sister a few years ago. I think did you go to Canada twice? I don't remember. But yeah, you're always welcome to Victoria, cuz. That's the cousin I went to Jamaica with, y'all. Shout out to my cousin. And she's going to be one of my guest speakers soon. As soon as I finish moving and getting that stuff sorted. But let's get to it. Nurse Pay. She a nurse, y'all. She going to get y'all right. Weight loss is another one. We're going to lose our weight in 2025. That's what we finna do. So yeah, let's get to it. Interest rate in Canada. We used to have interest rate, but I think when I went to Ontario after I finished school, I paid like 4% interest rate. It was like 4% or something. And then when I moved to Korea, I was still paying my student loan down. I paid my student loan down, so that was good. Now, after COVID, Justin Trudeau, he did his big one. He removed federal interest on student loans. So we no longer pay interest on student loans federally. Now, depending on the province you're from, some provinces will still charge you on the remaining part because in Canada, I don't know if it works like that in the US, but you get federal student loans and provincial student loans, which is like equivalent of federal student loan and state student loan. So if your province was charging an interest rate, then you'll probably still get paid that for whatever is remaining on the provincial balance. But for federal student loans, which is usually the bigger portion, 0 interest. Companies that dish out these loans are so greedy. Girl, they are, what do they call them? Predatory. Because they know a lot of us can't afford it. So it's like, oh, you want an education? You're going to have to pay. We're going to make sure you pay. And then guess what? You're going to have to work to pay it. So you can't ever get out of that ladder. And that's why people try to say, oh, education, oh, college doesn't mean anything because I went to college and I ended up being broker. You got to be smart about it. I've been told y'all, get a company to pay for it, for your education, because they do have those programs. And either get a company to pay for it, or I know join the military is kind of hard right now, especially with the president y'all have. So I wouldn't recommend it. But hell, man, the GI Bills are good. But what I would say is get into an industry where they help you pay your tuition. I would say that. I'm going to tell y'all a few programs right now. Them and insurance companies, that's where I need to work because that's where they are keeping the money, and the credit card companies. Yep. Insurance companies usually have really good benefits, by the way. Just letting y'all know, that's what happened to me. When I worked for a few insurance companies, I worked for medical and commercial insurance. They pay really well. I think by the time I'm in my last semester, I might have to pay more, so I'm preparing for that by saving money for it. Please do. Save money for it. And I'm about to tell y'all some tea. Oh, if you're a nurse, raise your hand if you're a nurse. Let's help my Americans now. I know some of y'all trying to leave the U.S. If you're not, it's okay. Like I said, y'all gonna make it work regardless. But if you're interested in leaving America and coming to Canada, I will tell you this. There are a lot of, especially if you're in the healthcare field, you better start looking. Now, again, they might have you placed in some remote areas. You see, that's the thing. People, let's talk about this right now. You gotta have a certain personality to live abroad. I'm being honest with y'all, whether it's in Canada or another country. You can't, I've been looking at contracts there. LOL, see it? We gonna talk about it. I'm gonna show you. Let me tell you, BC recruitment. I'm gonna tell y'all what the government is looking for right now. And hold on. Government of BC. Healthcare. We are desperate for healthcare workers, letting y'all know right now. We're desperate. So let me see recruitment. What am I looking? Healthcare recruitment. Let me try to look for it. If you're Canadian, just letting y'all know, if you're a Canadian and you're looking to get your student loans paid off, you better look into government programs for that, because a lot of areas are in desperate need of health care, and they need nurses, they need doctors, they need a lot of healthcare professionals. So what they're doing is, if you're in certain fields like social work, if you're in certain fields like nursing, this is for my Canadians first. If you're in nursing, if you're in different fields, what they'll do is that they'll help you pay your tuition and they'll help you pay for your program. I think I'm lying. I'm looking for it. I found it the other day. Dang, I should have saved it. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Student loan. Government of BC student loan forgiveness. If you're a public servant or you want to be a public servant in British Columbia, look, I don't know about other provinces right now. Okay, I know I used to live in Ontario, but I can't tell you about Ontario right now. I ain't been there in a long time. I ain't been there since 2017. So please do not quote me on that. But I'm gonna get to Americans soon. Here, let's get into it. Let me take this off because this is bothering me. What is available? Let me get into Canadians first. I'll get into Americans after. So here, BC Loan Forgiveness Program. Recent graduates in in-demand occupations can have their BC student loans forgiven by agreeing to work at publicly funded facilities in underserved communities in BC, or working with children in occupation where there is an identified shortage in BC. All right. So if you're a nurse or therapist in healthcare, look for strike work. It was the biggest come up for me. Those contracts pay up to $7 to $12K per week. Y'all better listen to At the Depth Studio. Y'all better be taking notes if you're in healthcare. Please do that. Y'all keep sharing with each other. I'm going to finish reading this. Eligible occupation in underserved communities. Nursing. Licensed practical nursing, nurse practitioners, registered psychiatric nurses, and registered nurses. Physician, including residents. Midwifery. Medical laboratory technologist, diagnostic medical sonographer, speech language pathologist, audiologist, occupational therapist, physiotherapist, respiratory therapist, polysomnographer, and radiation therapist. Now, if you're working with children, speech and language pathologist, occupational therapist, audiologist, physiotherapist, school psychologist, technology educator, and teacher of deaf, hard of hearing, or the visually impaired. This is for Canadians. Now let's get to my Americans, because they will let you work here if you have the proper paperwork. And these are the underserved communities here. So y'all gonna see all these communities here. There's a lot of them. Okay? Now let's get to my Americans. You want to immigrate to Canada. Again, I'm not an immigration agent. Please do not send me DMs saying, how can I immigrate to Canada? Like, I'll help you. I'll give you the steps. But I can't tell you, like, what paperwork you need and stuff like that. You're going to have to look it up on Immigration Canada. But I can tell you that Express Entry program, it has gotten harder for a lot of people to get in. However, if you are American, you already speak English. And you already have the points. Y'all come here, Americans. You already have the points. You have the language. Outside of Quebec. Please don't move to Quebec. Don't do it. You have the language. And you got to remember, you already have the points because it's a points-based system. You probably have an education equivalence. Because when I went to university, when I left Canada and I came here to go to university, my high school diploma was fine. It was equivalent. You literally can bypass a lot. I'm just letting y'all know that. So look at the express entry program for the government of Canada. Now, they say they restricted immigration, but we know what that really means. If you come from a native English-speaking country, you shouldn't worry about it. I'm just going to let y'all know. And your education, because you went to an English-speaking school, you don't have to pass the TOEFL or the IELTS or anything like that. As long as you went to an English-speaking school and you got a good trade, you're going to be okay. You might qualify for permanent residency. Matter of fact, I got a friend of mine. She's an American. And she came here. She got her, she recently got her PR. She was here on a work permit. And then she's let's just say, she's making good money. And now she's a PR, permanent resident. No, she got her citizenship. What am I saying? She was a PR for a few years, and then she recently got her citizenship. I know 2 people who got their citizenships. They were here as permanent residents. Just letting y'all know. Who's Irma Roberts? I don't know who that is. Oh, sorry, Irma. I'm sorry. It said message retracted. Sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to say that, Irma. Sorry about that. All right. Now, let's get into express entry. I'm going to show y'all. And then we're going to get into nursing and healthcare. If you're in a field that is in demand, your chances are higher into getting into Canada. Let's just be real. Okay. So here, let's go to the express entry program. Here, if you're interested in moving to Canada, express entry is an online system where we use to manage immigration applications from skilled workers. Highlight here. They want people who are skilled. Just letting y'all know. There are 3 immigration programs managed through express entry: Canadian Experience Class, Federal Skilled Worker Program, and Federal Federal Skilled Trades Program. You create a profile, you enter a pool. We invite the candidates with the most points in the rounds. If you're invited to apply, fill out the application, we'll review your application and make a decision. If you apply, you can apply to all 3 programs, calculate your comprehensive ranking score, get your documents ready, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what do they rate you on? What is your marital status? They're going to rate you on all that. Skills, education, language ability, work experience, other factors. This is important. This is important. This is important. This is, if you got all this, you good. You are fine. Now, people are going to say, Canadians get taxed a lot. You guys get taxed a lot. We do. I ain't going to lie. We do. That's one of my gripes about Canada. But guess what? Let me sound like Suge Knight, if y'all saw. Remember when he said, if you don't want to produce a dancing, laughing, you want to get paid your work, come to death row. So, if you're tired of getting taken advantage of, you want to live freely, you want to get good services, you don't want to have the pressure or anxiety, you don't want to have people pew-pew around you, because you don't want to have mass pew-pews. I'm not saying every city does. Of course, there's some amazing cities in America. But I'm saying, if you notice the climate is getting very, very distressing for you and you want to be around politicians that actually are politicians, that's all I'm going to say. Anyway, that's that. All right. So that's Canada. And also, again, if you're in an in-demand skill program, and it doesn't matter because I know, like I said, the 2 people I'm talking about, they're public servants. You just got to have the education in the background. If you're American, you already have the language. Ain't nothing holding you back. Let's just put it that way. So the offer is there. And also, don't go to the big cities. You're going to pay an exorbitant amount for rent. I promise you. You're not going to go to a city that's medium, small to medium size usually. It's cold. That's what I'll tell you. Now, if you're not interested in doing that and you want to stay in the U.S., y'all going to give each other advice. Y'all can go to the Discord and y'all can discuss that, because that I don't know. I know there's different federal programs that you can get into, and like the Deb Studio was it at the Deb Studio that said that, yep, you could get strike work. So you're going to look into that. Start looking into your field if you're going to stay homegrown, because some people, they don't have the means to move, or you don't want to move. There ain't nothing wrong with that. You can stay where you at. But you're going to protect yourself. Let's just put it that way. If you are a woman Please get licensed to carry if you're in the US. It's about to get real out here. Because I'm telling y'all, most of the women, again, that I've noticed that have the issues and that have had, I would say, I don't want to say it out, they get unalived. Usually they don't have the protection. If you are a woman and you're able to be licensed to carry, and I know some people are like, I'm against that, I don't want to have it. Listen, desperate times call for desperate measures, because the way people are moving around here, you might need to learn how to do that. I'm just being real. Please protect yourself, women. I promise you need to protect yourself. Because, yeah, get the pew-pew, please, at the deaf studio, please. I'm glad you're doing it. Please get it. Start defending yourself. But also because they are laying with Pookie and Ray Ray. They are. But let me let you know, Tyra, Pookie and Ray Ray, absolutely, 100%. They laying up with them, and that's why they're getting unalive. But I'm going to tell you something else that's going on right now. The climate right now, it's not good. I'm noticing a lot of, men. They are starting to have that R-word mentality. And because you got to understand the climate we're in, people are only going to be emboldened when the environment lets them be. You're going to see a lot of racists be emboldened. More unhinged people. You're going to have sexual predators be emboldened. You're going to have rapists be emboldened. We live, absolutely. And the more the women's rights are stripped away, the more you're going to see that. Just letting y'all know. They're getting desperate. Yes, times are getting hard. And people are starting to live out. They're starting to not be mentally well. And little mama, you're right. And this is what I'm saying. And I know that, please get your license. Let me tell you, if I could preach to the mountaintops, if you don't live in a community that, listen, even me, what I will say is this: Canada is relatively safe. Let me tell y'all something. Sorry about that. When I left US, I used to get catcalled a lot. It was really, from a young age, let's just keep it real. I've been groped. I've been smacked in the butt. And this is all in school. I'm not even talking about neighborhood. People they used to play a game, because I had big boobs at the time, like really big boobs. I got a breast reduction for free in Canada, letting y'all know our medical system, hey, if you got an ailment. Matter of fact, for the IVF I have, yes, we have to pay for IVF, but we get one free round now in the province. But I had big boobs, and then I had to get a breast reduction. I got it when I moved to Canada. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. I had big boobs in school. I was young. I was overdeveloped. Guys used to run. They used to run up, smack my titty, and run. And whenever I would tell someone, or I would tell a teacher to be like, oh yeah, like they'd be like, oh, I'm gonna talk to him. But then they would do it again and again. I used to get my butt smacked. Like, that's what I'm saying. It starts when they're young. And the thing is, if you have a culture where men are not checked for their behavior, this is what's gonna happen. I saw an email stating that there are over 600,000 plus work permits issued annually in Canada. That's a lot. So tell me, are people staying or are they leaving? I'm gonna tell you, her creative mind. It's so sad that girls have to go through young because of the grape culture. Yes. And I'm telling y'all, like, at the time, I just was like, I just let it go, because I was like, they were my friends. And then I was like, oh, whatever. I didn't want to get people in trouble. One time I did have to tell a teacher, and she checked them. But then at the same time, I was like, that was it, right? So excuse me. What I'm trying to say is now the climate is getting really disgusting. Just letting you know. Remember, they found a group chat where men were discussing how they were raping women. And I think it had over 700,000 men across the world. This ain't nothing new. Absolutely. There's another reason why these big cities are trash. People are working 50-hour a week, making 25 an hour, and can't even rent a room, or are 30 plus years old and can't leave their parents' home. Deb Studio and her creative mind, I'm going to answer y'all questions. I feel protective over girls and younger women like that. Those heathens are not going to touch these kids. Yes, I'm like that too. If I see something inappropriate happening, I automatically check it, or I buffer in between the girls. I always do that. Yeah, oh, that's okay. Thank you, her creative mind. Now I'm like, I became aware of it, and thankfully it stopped when I was able to defend myself and stuff. I would hit them back. I even fought a boy before, y'all. I fought so many people. A lot of these men are pissed off and taking it out. Yes, because women... I'm going to talk about that. When I was in middle school, my friend told me that her teacher was telling her that he was having dreams about her. It's very inappropriate. Like, adults are even doing... That's what I'm saying. They're getting into spaces. Where do you think the predators are? church, school. Boom. Thank God I never had an older male do anything to me in the sense that like that was supposed to take care of me and protect me as in the sense of that. But it's real out here. DJ academic situation was crazy. The way people treat children is horrendous. Yup. You said government? Yup. It's so sad. Hi, Harriet. How you doing, sis? Welcome to the chat. I'm here until Dom comes home. I'll be talking because next week I'm not going live. What I was going to say is this. And catch a replay if you can. And then I'm going to clip it. I might do clips or something like that. I don't know. I'd be lazy sometimes. But what I will say is this. Men are jealous of women. I said it. Some men. I don't mean, not my man. My man is not jealous. Okay, he's not a jealous man. Because he got his own. He does what he needs to do. He don't have time to be studying me. He got his own stuff going on. But men are naturally jealous. Why? Because if they see you being too sexy, because remember, it's just, let me tell you, the men versus women conversation is the same as POC versus conversation. We can always, it's intersectional. Let's just put it this way. Men are always used to being on top. From the foundation of this country, in every culture, a lot of cultures, except some countries, women are venerated. But for the most part, patriarchy is very large, especially in countries where there was colonialism and all that other stuff. Because again, except indigenous culture, y'all need to research. Let me tell y'all, go to a tribe. Women are venerated. They're the leaders in indigenous culture. If you're indigenous, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I know for a fact from what I've studied, women take the charge in indigenous. Imagine it's flipped. A lot of cultures, women are venerated. And that's because, I'm going to be real, if you're a man in the chat, I'm sorry, boo-hoo cry. But when you think about analytical skills and critical thinking and taking care of others and emotional thing, I'm not saying men can't have it, but we have a sense that they don't have. And we usually have more premonition, just letting you know that. I was watching this channel of a guy who dresses up as a woman to show how women get harassed in public, and these males wouldn't back off after being told no until he told them he was a man. Yeah, I'm telling you, they think they own you. A lot of these a lot of these men don't have two pennies to rub together, and they still get enraged when they see women living well. Yeah, because they think that you're subservient. You are supposed to be at the bottom. That's the climate we live in. That's what it was founded on that. So for them, they only feel better. I'm not saying all men, please. Oh, she's a man hater. I am married. I'm not talking to y'all in the chat. I'm talking to whoever watches this after. I don't want to hear it. I'm a married woman. My husband respects me. I would never marry him if he did. Let's just put it this way. But the reason why I loved him even more was I saw the way he treated his mother. And not just his mother. The way he treated his grandmother, rest in peace. And the way he treated women around him with nothing but respect. Even today he took my mom because we wanted to take her to our new place. Let me tell you, I don't have to tell my man how to be a man. I don't have to tell him that. I didn't have to say, hey, buy my mom this, buy my... He literally picked my mom. We went out together with my mom. He took my mom around. He took us around. He bought her stuff. He was like, hey, mom, do you need anything to eat? Are you hungry? Do you need something to drink? Respectful. Why? Because his dad respects his mom. That is it. His dad respected his mom. His dad, he said he ain't never seen his dad yell at his mom ever in his life. He said that his dad, you should see how his dad is with his mom. I witness it. And I know I can only see what I can see because I didn't live in that household. But from what I see, that's a good man. That man, he loves his wife. Damn. It's like his wife is everything to him. And vice versa. He respects her so much. And of course, he raised a son that respected his wife. I mean, his mom. And so how you gonna know this? And this is the problem I have when I lived in Korea. I'm not saying all Korean men respect their wives. Please. Far from it. But what I will say is this. Culturally, I'm going to add Canadian men to this too. Culturally, Korean men, I will say this. A lot of them are misogynistic, don't get me wrong. They are. They are. They're misogynistic everywhere in the world. Please. Let's not even say that. But I will say that culturally, it is, at least from the outside, you should respect your woman. That's why when you go to Korea, you're going to see a lot of men holding their women's purses. You're going to see a lot of them holding the door for their wives. You're going to see them respecting their wives. Like, of course, you got outliers. You got some misogynistic men. Of course, you have the small percentage. But overall, generally speaking, you're not going to see them disrespect their women. You're never going to see that. Let me know if you see one video of a Korean man disrespecting a Korean woman. Please, let me know if you find it. Let me know. I would love to see it. Canadian men, if y'all want to date Brad, Canadian men are good. They may be a little rugged, they're a little, they're a little slow sometimes. I would be nice. They may be a little, like, they like the outdoors, at least where I live. But those men respect their wives. They respect their wives. They respect their girlfriends. I'm telling y'all. However, what I will say about some countries, and it's not just the US of A, let's be clear. But when you have a culture that doesn't respect women, and that's socially, it's accepted to sexually assault women or rape women or have all these things, how you talk about women, amen, then you're going to breed men who feel entitled to your body. And again, I'm not generalizing because that happens everywhere across the world. But what I will say is this. I could walk late at night right now. Nobody's going to catcall me. Nobody's going to harass me. Nobody's going to come after me. Now, again, I'm not saying that doesn't happen because a lot of missing and indigenous women are out there. Let's be clear. People get human trafficked everywhere in the world. So to be honest with you, I'm going to be real with y'all. It's about culture. And it's about where your man was raised, who he was raised by. If he was raised by a pick-me, and when I say pick-me, he could do no wrong, he's not held accountable, chances are that you're going to have a ride on your hand. He is going to feel entitled. And unfortunately, our culture right now, we are raising entitled men. And I'm not talking about we, I ain't. But I'm saying a lot of women are raising men to be entitled or have raised men to be entitled. And so they feel like they could just have you and own you. If you say no to them, people are getting shot for saying no to men, for rejecting men. People are getting abused. It's happening. It's been happening. But now what I'm noticing is that it's getting violent, is my point. Once it gets violent, that's when I have to say that you got to start carrying. Please start carrying your weapon. Please get your permit. Get your permit. Get it. Get your permit. At the depths, you said culture and family of origin is so important. Yes. Because if he comes from a culture where women are disrespected and it's okay, there are no laws to protect you, and that's where I'm getting at. Again, I'm not saying that. I want to make it very clear. Korea has a long way to go. Let's be real. And right now, a lot of women trying to get their rights. So I can't even use Korea, to be quite honest with you. I just married a really good man. Let's just put it that way. I just saw a story today about a woman was walking home at night shift and a man attempted to rape her, but the female neighbor saved her. So many men. That girl that was set on fire in New York, perfect example. Sometimes they just hate you. They don't like you. Hey, cuz. Merci, cousine. Merci, info. Y'all say hi to my cousin Didi in New York. Yeah. Let me tell y'all. Comment ça va, Didi? Yeah, y'all see I be trying to do so many things, but yeah, I love my cousin down, man. That's my cousin. I got a lot of family on this. My dad came, my cousins came, okay. But listen, so this is the thing. If you can, please, license to carry. That's what we gonna do this year. Blueprint. Get your pew pew. Please. 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 Oh no, I'm gonna do another live after. I'm just talking a lot because Dom's not here. I said I'm gonna talk until he comes. So we gonna keep it here. Another thing I want to mention: Her Creative Mind and Dub Studio. Y'all had mentioned there are a lot of work permits issued for Canada. I think Her Creative Mind did, and Dub Studio kind of mentioned it too. And why do people leave? Because they can't afford it. But I'm telling you why they can't afford it: unskilled, or they come from a country where they have to get the equivalency, and that takes a lot of time. So that's why I'm saying that, unfortunately, this is where the unfairness comes in, and I have to be real. I have to be honest and transparent. I don't want to deceive you guys. If you come from a country where English is not the first language, you're going to have a hard time in Canada, because we are highly regulated. If you want to know about bureaucracy, this is the country. But in a way, it keeps us safe, because every doctor or every nurse or every professional is highly regulated. They're not gonna get the job just for DEI and like you didn't study, like you didn't know what you was doing. Please, I hate when people use affirmative action. First of all, Canada, I don't even think we have affirmative action. Let's be clear. Everything is merit based or blind hiring, whatever you want to call it. I think we have some form of it, but let me tell you, if you get somewhere, you got to get licensed, and you get license on license, and every few years you got to get licensed again. They don't play that. And I know y'all don't either, especially for your professionals, but we're more regulated than you, so you could even imagine. Highly regulated. Is it a bad thing? It can be, because there's a lot of paperwork and red tape that goes in between, especially if you're doing a field where you have to protect the public. They don't play with you. You got to get regulated all the time. So Canada does not tolerate what U.S. does. For example, working and not speaking English. Never. Never. You're not going to see that unless you work a low-wage job. You're not going to see that in any professional setting. Period. No, let me tell you, this is how it is. Lil Mama, read what you said, and I'm going to tell you. Yeah, people use DEI as an example. Makes no sense. These jobs require experience and knowledge. You don't get this for free or because you're trying to meet the... Exactly. They just don't want you to do it because they don't think you're smart. They have to find a way to make it seem like you're not smart enough, so you had to get in through DEI. I know the trick. Because they can't believe that you're smarter than them. That's what I'm trying to say. Because we always had to be in them books. Especially if you're a black woman, we didn't have any excuse. Our moms did not raise us we were raised like how they were supposed to raise the boys is how they raised us. We were supposed to be the ones, like the men act entitled and all that stuff. Women are supposed to be like that, but they raised us like men. Yeah, some countries can earn up to 40% more in Canada, with salaries growing by an average of 7% per year, and some incomes could double in the next few. Yes. Yep. Romy, even a tier job like a secretary to an exec, you can't. What? Hold on, I'm gonna tell y'all. I like that aspect of Canada, to be honest. The language in the U.S. is kind of wild. Girl! Oh, lower tier? Hold on, I'm gonna tell you. Executives make a lot of money here, by the way, y'all. You know what? Let me show y'all. Y'all think I'm playing. My classmates tried to talk down to me like I mentioned on Discord. I had to set them straight. Exactly. You know what? It's because I've never, to be honest with you, only one time somebody I think I had told y'all that story when I worked at immigration. She's like, oh, you got, they let you stay because you're black or something like that. I had to set her straight. But ever since then, ain't nobody ever questioned my skills, because it's apparent I am not a DEI hire. Literally, you can look at my resume. Check my resume. Like, ain't no way. As soon as I walk in the door, don't nobody question nothing. Because ain't no way. They know. Just off the strength of my work alone. Matter of fact, they said, let me tell y'all. Okay, you know what? You brought up a good point. Let me look up the salaries. I'm not joking with y'all. This is the municipal government. Let me tell you how much they pay. Now, provincial government, they don't pay that much. I'll be honest with you. As far as because public servant, you're not going to get paid a lot. It's a cush job. Okay, let me tell you. If you're a public servant, you're just working for the benefits. You're not working for the income. You're not going to be rich. Hey, Monty, how you doing, sis? You're not going to be rich. You're not going to be rich. If you want to serve the public, you're not supposed to be rich. Unless you're living in a country like South Korea where they really highly regard public servants for whatever reason. But usually when you're dealing with the public, you're not going to be rich. But if you go outside, municipal government is where it's at. I'm just being honest with y'all. The city government, they pay a lot, especially in Canada. In Canada, city government, municipal government, that's where you're going to get the most bank. And then provincial government, depending on which province you work in. Alberta, they pay a lot. If there's not a high population or a large population, they're going to pay you a lot. Just letting y'all know. So it really depends on where you live. Now, let's look at some jobs in Canada. You asking the question, executive assistant. How much do they pay? And I'm going to tell y'all. In Canada, we have 2 official languages, English and French. If you do not speak English and French, good luck. Oh, sorry. English or French. Sorry. English or French. If you're in Quebec, you must speak French. There's no doubt about it. If you don't speak French and you live in Quebec, you're going to work a low-wage job. Period. They don't play about that. I'm just keeping it real. If you work in Quebec and you want to have a high-paying job, you better speak French. Period. And you got to speak it and write it. You could get by with speaking, but then you're going to be in the call center area. Call center, contact center, that's where they're going to have you at. But if you want real good paying job, you need to speak French, period. They don't play about that. Now, if you live outside of Quebec, there are some parts of Canada that want bilingual workers, and there are some parts of Canada that just want English speaking only. I live in BC, English only. Dom works for the federal government right now. He just came a year ago. But guess what? He speaks English. He had to do his interview in English, had to pass a test in English, had to do all that in English. There's no excuses. None. All the people they hire got to speak English, new immigrant or not. Now, this is where the caveat comes in. If you're a low-wage job, yes, of course you're going to get away with speaking. I heard people speaking Punjabi to each other at Walmart. But it's a lower wage job. That's what I'm saying. You can't get, there's no way in Canada you're gonna get a high-paying job if you don't speak English or French or both. Period. They don't play that over here. So you're not gonna go and see somebody in a corporate space only speaking a language that's not an official language. It's not gonna happen. All the workplaces I've been at, it's never happened before. I have never seen somebody come out the gate talking another language. It don't work like that. They don't play about that here. You got to speak English. Now, again, unless you're in a low-wage job. So, let's get to it. Hold on. I saw an executive assistant one. So, I'm going to give y'all the salary. This is city government. Okay, guys? Just remember that. Let me see if I can find it. Administrative coordinator. Okay. So, hold on. I remember I saw executive assistant. Here we go. Executive assistant to executive offices. Look at how much they're paying, y'all. Executive assistant. Look at the salary. 84 to 98,000 yearly. And you work 70 hours bi-weekly. 84 to 98,000. This is reporting to the manager and the executive assistant to the executive offices. This is how much you're going to be making here. Let me do the U.S. equivalency. Let's check. Because Canadian dollars. That's Canadian dollars, y'all. Let's be real. However, if you make that much in Canada, you can live off of that. You can live off of that. Let's just put it that way. Oh, sorry. In USD, it's not that good. I'm sorry. I don't know. Listen, again, if you live in Canada, that's a pretty good salary. But if you live in America, I don't think it's that much, actually. Now that I converted, damn, my dollar's low. This is sad. It's about almost 60,000 US. I don't know your wages, to be honest with you right now. I've been out for so long. But yeah, it's about 57 to 58,000. 58,000. I don't think that's that much in US, but then it's depending, because you got to remember 84,000 to 98,000. That's the lower end. 98,000 Canadian. Listen, I gotta be honest. I don't know how much it works. That's like 60 to 68,000. Is that a lot in America? I don't know. In America, our dollars is worthless. Well, that's not too bad, but if it's like some leadership role, it is low. Yeah, but in Canada, you gotta remember the Canadian dollar. This is a lot. 84 to 98 is a lot for Canadians. So is the equivalence, like if you were to convert it in the US wage in America, then no, that's not that much money. But if you were to convert it in Canadian, like if you stay in Canada though, you can't, listen, if you're American and you come to Canada and you work for that wage, you won't be able to send money back home. So actually, I don't think that's a good deal if you're sending money back home. But if you're staying in Canada and your money is not going anywhere else and it's staying in Canada, that's a good salary. Because remember, you got benefits. Hold on, let me show y'all the benefits. Hold on. So, I will see if the benefits are here. Oh, it doesn't say it here. But that's municipal government in Canada. Now, I'm going to tell y'all the trick. As somebody who lived abroad. You got to go to a country. Because if you plan on returning to your home country, I'll be honest with you, that job is not good. But if you're staying in Canada indefinitely and your money's just going to stay here, that's a good deal. That's a lot of money in Canada. So, for example, you got to move, for my Americans or whoever is watching, if you're not even American, if the country you're moving to has a higher margin of when you convert the money, it's worth more in your home country, you move there. Our dollar is weak against the US dollar, 100%. But let's compare it to the Korean won. So I'm gonna show y'all something. A studio apartment in the NE can run about $2,000 to $4,000 a month. That's about the same here. I'm being honest with y'all. That's about the same here. We're like, depending on where you live, it's expensive here. It's expensive, I'm being honest. So you need that kind of salary. You gotta make at least, oh, I knew what you meant, Northeast, yeah. You gotta make at least, in Canada, at least 100,000. If you're single. If you're married, these two incomes combined, you'll be okay. You'll survive. You'll be all right because we get a lot of benefits and stuff like that. But let me get to what I was saying, the conversion. So let's do XE, Korean won. Let me put that salary for Korea. Let's put it that way. Let's say that I was making 84,000 in Canada. And let's see if the Korean won is worth that. Let's see. I'm gonna convert it. Hold on, I'm converting it. Yeah, it's about the same. So 84,000 Canadian dollars is about 83 million Korean won. Y'all know they add the extra zero. So when I convert money, if I were to work in Canada, let's say Dom, for example. Dom is working in Canada. Whatever he makes in Canada is just a little less in Korea. It's worth 83,000. So it's not that much different. So when he sends money back home, he's going, the exchange rate is going to be a little, he's going to get dinged a little bit, but it's okay. But if I send that money to America, because y'all remember his parents still live in Korea, so he could send them money if he wanted to. He always sending them money. You get it's a little different, but at least it's worth it, right? Because the conversion is not that far. But again, if I'm making $84,000 in Canada and I'm American and I want to send money back home, it's only going to be worth $58,000. That's not a good deal, actually. Sorry to tell y'all. I'm being honest. So my advice, if you want to travel abroad, because a lot of people talking about, I want to move abroad. Listen closely. Let's even do US dollar to Korean won. Because Korean won and Canadian dollar are not that far apart. So when I lived in Korea, it was actually worth a little bit more. So when I transfer money back home to Canada, I made bang for my buck. But if you making 84,000 in US, let's say you're Korean, you live in the US, you want to support your oma appa or your family. It's worth, hold on, 84,000 US dollars is worth a lot in Korea. It's going to be worth at least 120,000. And if you were to stay in the US, let's just say that. Let's say you were to stay in the US and you want to travel to Canada or something like that, and you got your money and you want to invest in Canada, whatever, I don't know what y'all want to do with your money, okay? 84,000 US is worth 120,000 in Canada. Got me excited over here. I'm looking at places to move once I make your money in America. If you're American, your dollar is very strong right now. I'm coming soon. I'm telling y'all, if you're in America, my best advice to you is your dollar is very strong. Stay put if you can. Unless you go to a country, you gotta go to a country where your dollar is worth a lot. Because again, when you live abroad, you'd be surprised how much things you still gotta pay when you're abroad. When I was abroad in Korea, I had to pay student loans. But guess what? I was making 2,000. It's not even that much, to be honest with you. I was making 2 million a month in Korea. I know 2.3. Sorry, I like 2.3. Let's say before I left Korea, I was making 2.3 million, and the last few months they gave me, I think they was about to give me like almost 2.5, but I ended up just getting 2.3 million one, and then I left. I went back to Canada. But hold on, let me put 23,000. That's how much I was making. That's how much average you make as an English teacher, between 2.1 to 2.3. Let's just be clear. You might make 2,000 much. It seems low, right? That seems super low, right? Think about it, okay? Because if you do 2.3 million a month, let me get my calculator. Y'all know I can't count. Hold on. I'm gonna tell y'all. So, 2.3 million Korean won in Korea is worth, hold on, in Canada, my salary, I was making the same amount. So when I sent it from Korea to Canada, it's literally, I wouldn't get charged that much. My rate, the transfer rate wasn't that much. So then when I paid the transfer fee, whatever, after that, I still got to keep a pretty big chunk change of it. So what I would do is I would just send money home, send money home, send money home, send money home. Right? I saved it in Korea, but then I sent it to Canada because our dollar is not that much different. Right? So then I was able to save money. And when I did the exchange rate, my money was good. And by the way, if you're in Korea, Kakao Bank, if you're a foreigner, but I don't think they let foreigners do it. You see, that's the problem with Korea. They don't let you can't do nothing over there without being a resident. Because Don was able to send me money, they don't have transfer fees, Kakao Bank. So if you're married to a Korean person, please get them to send your family money. If you're sending money to America, or send money to your bank account through your husband or wife, if they're a Korean, because they can get Kakao Bank. I could have probably gotten it because I had a permanent residency visa, but I didn't get a chance to get it. But anyways, Dom used to send me money and it was zero rate for they didn't charge you for sending money over. Just letting y'all know. That's why when he sent his parents money, no transfer fee. I think Barley does it too, but I'm not sure. I've never used Barley. Don't quote me on that. PayPal will charge you, but it's not that big of an amount. But Kakao Bank is completely free. I'll double check with Dom, but I remember when he used to send me money, he told me he was happy because he ain't had to send me no transfer fee. Just letting y'all know. Anywho, if you're Korean, I'm showing y'all, I'm telling y'all. If you're in Korea, you send money to Canada, it's the same. Today. And it was like that from the time I was in Korea. It's not that much different. So if you're a Canadian and you want to work in Korea, you're okay. It's literally the same salary. You're 84,000 in Canada. If you get paid the same in Korea, you can transfer it back. If you get paid a little less in Korea, it's okay because rent is a little cheaper compared to Canada. You're good. You can send the money back when you work, send it back, whatever. Americans, if you go to Korea right now, let's say you work in Korea, 2.3 million. You only gonna make 1,600 USD. That's not that much. And we're not even counting the conversion rate and the transfer fees. If you move to Korea and you wanna work in Korea, your dollar's not gonna be worth more. It's gonna be worth less when you send it back home. Just letting y'all know that. So if you plan on working in Korea, you're gonna have to sacrifice something. Because your dollar, whatever you save in Korea, is going to be worth way less. So let's say you ended up saving $10,000 in Korean won. So 10 million. You're only going to keep 6,000 of that if you go to US. And that's not even counting the transfer fees and taxes or whatever is owed. So you're not going to make that much. That's almost a $4,000 cut. Ouch. 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 Your dollar is worth more. Your dollar is worth a lot. So, what I would recommend is before you move abroad, like I said, if you're in a country where the rate, like for example, the Canadian dollar, that's an example I'm giving, is stronger, and I'm from a country where my dollar's weaker, sending money to Canada ain't gonna be nothing for you. You're gonna be able to send money back home and build your stuff and do whatever you need to do. You're gonna be able to live and to save up money or whatever. Maybe I do need to take that career trip later this year. Yeah, because people don't think about that. They don't think about it. And that's one thing I will tell y'all. When I lived abroad, it saved me. I didn't even know this. I just went abroad because I wanted to. I was like, oh. But then my American friends would literally cry in American tears because whenever I would send money back home, they were scared. That's why a lot of Americans are still there. A lot of people I know from America, they're staying there. It's not because they want to. Some of them want to, don't get me wrong, but some of them is because they can't, because it's not worth it. They're gonna lose their money. Stay in the finest hotel while the money rate is low. There you go. Your money is worth more, little mama. Because if you let's say you gonna have a trip, are those people that didn't pay? Yeah. Some of them didn't pay their tax. A lot of people go abroad. They don't pay their student loans. They don't pay their taxes because they think they never going to go back to America. I'm never going back. And then, you know what's funny about it? Don't ever do that. They going to get you one way or another. Don't think you can run away from Uncle Sam. Please. If you live in another country and you think that your student loan is not going to follow you, please. Let me tell y'all what's going to happen when pension time comes up, because you're going to get your pension unless you never worked in America, which I doubt it, because most people who go to Korea, you need a bachelor's degree. Period. They're not going to let you get a visa, a work permit in Korea without a bachelor's degree, or that's if you're an English teacher, or you got to get some type of residency paper. It's illegal. Let me tell y'all, an illegal immigrant in Korea is very rare. They will find you. And they will deport you. They don't pay that. So, if you're from a native English-speaking country, usually you're an English teacher, or you're from somewhere, you got to get a visa. Listen, you get your visa, whatever. I don't know how you get it, but anyways, you need to get a visa. Period. So, people, what they don't understand is that they think, oh, I'm going to be here. I'm going to get my permanent residency. I'm not going to pay my student loan. I'm going to be good. Guess what happens when pension time comes? Oh, you didn't pay your taxes? You're in arrears? Oh, you didn't pay your student loan? Hey, Sela, how are you, sis? You didn't pay your student loan? They're going to take that from your pension. Whatever little pension you got is gone. And guess what? Most people don't know. Your pension, even if you lived and worked in Korea for so many years, if you're from another country, they're going to have to hit up your original country of origin and coordinate the pension. My parents, that's exactly what happened. They worked in the U.S. for X amount of years. As soon as they applied for their pension in Canada, Canada was like, hey, where were you for this extended amount of time? Korea's going to say that too. Hey, you're 60-something or 50-something, because, they retire early. They be pushing you out the workforce. But you're not Korean. So wherever your country is, we need to call them and see how much pension they owe you, because they got to coordinate. They have an agreement with different countries. Every country has a pension agreement. Let's talk about it. Every country has a pension agreement. Most countries do. So what they're going to do is they're going to be like, let's call America. We got to call Uncle Sam. Let's call the American government, because if they're going to pay for some of your pension, why are we going to pay that out? Hell no. We need to, how much do they owe you? So we can make your money less, because you got to ask them and us. We got to coordinate together. My parents, that's what happened. Canadian government was like, okay, we could give you the bare minimum, but guess what? You were out of the country for this long, so you're going to have to hit up America. We need to find out how much time you spent there, how much time you worked there, and then we're going to give you your pension based on the Americans. Whatever you did over there, we're going to coordinate, and then we're going to come with an equal amount, like an amount that works. So whatever country you're working at, They need to get the amount from your original country of origin to see how long you worked, how long you were there. Period. And then, you know what Korean government is going to do? Oh, they're going to call the American government, and the American is going to be like, oh, this person owes taxes. And they haven't filed, because you got to file in America even if you're out of the country. So then, we're going to take our money back. You owe us. We know where you are now. You thought you could hide? We gonna know where you at. We gonna find you. One way or another, I'm gonna find you. You think they're not gonna charge you? You think you gonna run off the plug? Please. And as far as I know, student loans are not forgiven. It's a debt that's unforgivable. Unless Biden makes it, but hell, y'all got whoever in office right now, I don't know. But when you pass away, your student loans are still there. They're not forgiven like that. They're debt. That's debt. They're going to come back and get it. They might not get it today. They may not get it tomorrow. They may not get what you owe them in taxes today. But they will get it. Oh, best believe. You really think your work government, you really think they're dumb enough to let you not pay for something? They probably just not going to go after you right now. They just wait. Wait for the time to pass. They're like the FBI. FBI is going to wait until you incriminate yourself. They will play the long game. They will watch you for years. And they're going to let you do whatever you want to do. Oh, yeah, we know this person's criminal. We just going to let them hang themselves on the... Oh, let me not say that. That's YouTube. But we're going to just let them get themselves in trouble. And eventually they're going to come back for the money. But period. What I'm trying to say is this. Please pay your stuff if you're abroad. They will catch you one way or another, but pay it on time. Anyway, point is that if you are American, you want to move to another country, please check your exchange rate in that country and make sure you have enough. And also make sure when you work there that you can send money back home and save up, because you never know when you got to go back. Are you leaving Victoria, or they're getting every dime? No, I'm not leaving Victoria, sis. I'm here forever. Forever, ever, forever, ever. No, I'm just, we're moving to another apartment here. We're moving 20 minutes out of town. I'll show y'all the new place. Yeah, I'll show y'all the new place. We're staying in Victoria. Oh, no, we're not leaving Victoria. Nah, we're not leaving Victoria. We're good here. Yeah, we're not leaving Victoria. But anyways, my point is this, that when you work in another country, because I love Victoria. Victoria's so peaceful, man. Y'all, like... It's peaceful. It's not that cold. It's people are friendly. Like it's a whole new world. It's like, I'm telling y'all, like, again, Canada has its problems, don't get me wrong, but there's something about being at peace. And usually it's when you go outside of the big cities, because big cities, there too many people, it's crowded. But I live in a smaller island, so shoot, American women just got accepted by government 60 years ago. Yup. It's not that much longer. I mean, not that long time ago. It's not that long ago. Not that long ago. It hasn't been that long. Matter of fact, it hasn't been that long since black people were freely able to work in the South. I mean, as far as like, you know, integration. What they said, Ruby Davis, she's the girl who was the first girl that went into integrated schools. What's her name? Ruby Bridges. Let's check Ruby Bridges' age. She was the first little girl that went into the school, and she had to have the National Guard around her because she was the first black little girl to go into an integrated school. Ruby Bridges is 70 years old. Y'all got Mimas and Papas that are 70 years old. So when they try to tell you that, this happened a long time ago, you should forget it, please don't ever forget it, because it's not that long ago. I got an uncle right now that's 80 years old. My grandpa's 90 years old. Please. Please. It hasn't been that long. So when they try to tell you that, it's so long ago, why don't you forget about it? It's not that long ago. It's like 70 years ago. That's not that long. There are people still alive. My grandpa's still kicking it. He's 90. Please. My mom's generation was the first one that didn't grow up in the civil rights era. Yo, mama, imagine. So that's why I'm saying this change is going to take time. It's very close. We just got our freedom papers, y'all. It ain't been that long. It hasn't been that long. As a Manitoba a good place to start? Depending. Y'all got a good premier. Let's shout him out. He's an indigenous man. What's his name? Canoe, I think that's his last name. I'm gonna look him up. They're killing all these DEI programs and all these white. Target is looking. Nope. We was just talking about that earlier. Write up a list of places that you need to go. Don't frequent places that do not. And this is the thing. I don't think people really realize how powerful your dollar is. I just told y'all how much your dollar is worth in other countries. Your dollar is strong. You're the only generation that wasn't raised in civil rights or slavery. Amen to that, little mama. And you got to change the map. You got to change the trajectory of everyone behind you. Because this is the problem. They want us to go back in time. Because back then, they ain't had to work that hard. Because guess who was doing the free labor? Guess who was getting paid low wages? And then, once we started, let me tell y'all. FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was one of the first presidents who gave people, like, he's the one who tried to get the country back to where it was supposed to be, right? You said Target canceled me when they decided not to ever mark down their wild. I don't know what Wild Fable clothes is, but because we don't have Target in Canada anymore. They came here. And then Canadians were like, nah, man, y'all ain't got good deals like that, so we ain't gonna shop. And they had to shut shop. They had to close shop. But my point is this. What I was gonna say is this. What was my point again? What was I talking about? I forgot. I might get back to it. I don't know. My brain kind of is working. But what I'm trying to say is this. It hasn't been that long ago. We haven't been free for that long. And they want us to do low wage labor. Again, that's what I'm saying. Because that is the goal, is to get, because remember, they're trying to kick illegal migrants out, illegal immigrants. Girl, people getting rounded up that got citizenship. And one guy, he was a U.S. Marine, and they just rounded him up because he looked Hispanic. They're not playing. They profiling people. Okay, let's be real. Now, for the longest time, immigrants were building, let's be honest, they were the backbone of the economy. I don't care what anyone says, especially those who are underground. They are the ones that are working the jobs so that you can work, you can get better. Your education can be better. They're the ones working the low wage. They keep the economy going, right? Let's just be real. Let's keep it real. Now, they're rounding up a lot of illegal migrants, whoever, and they're rounding up different types of people too. In Canada, same thing. Same thing. They're getting rid of a lot of temporary foreign workers and foreign students because, you know, prices are high and they're blaming the underclass. We already know how that goes, so I don't need to explain it to y'all. Now, who do you think is going to work those farm hand jobs and all that stuff? Who you think gonna do it? Oh, who? Because we were doing it before. Remember, it hasn't been that long. Who's going to cut the lawn, be in restaurants, construction, and farm? Who is going to do it? They're not going to do it. Please. They're not going to do it. They're not going to let their sons and daughters do it either. So who's going to be doing it? Y'all got to think about that. Who going to be doing that? Who? Yeah. Like they did black people. It is. And you know what it is? Like I said earlier in the chat, you can't, and that's the thing. We gotta start, like, in Lil Mama, you're right. They're starting to talk to them like they're the subhumans because they need somebody to pick at. Because when you live in a capitalistic system, you have to have somebody at the bottom. Now you eliminate the people at the bottom that were there, because let me tell y'all, it's a pattern. It always changes. The people always change, but the pattern remains the same. That's everywhere in the world, Canada included. What I will say though is we live in a more socialist / capitalist system, so you're not gonna see it as much. But in the US, you guys have unchecked capitalism. Let me tell you, you're gonna see it. It's apparent. It's in your face. You have the country with the most billionaires. That should scare you. Country with the most billionaires. Because if you have a lot of billionaires, oh, sorry, I lied. China's number 1. I'm sorry about that. I forgot. Sorry. US is number 2. But guess what? China is a social communist country. C word. I can't say it out loud. They produce a lot of billionaires too. They've caught up. But let's talk about the U.S. U.S. second. U.S. used to be number one. Number two, U.S. All right, you got capitalism, right? Now, again, I used to be a political science major. I can't go into too much theory, but I remember we learned about neoliberalism, liberalism, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I'm gonna condense it for y'all. If you're not a political science major, let's make it super uber simple for you. You guys had a lot of social policies. You guys had America, especially America. You had a lot of social policies. And then they went away during the years of the 1980s. Neoliberalism, that's what we called it in political science. That's when they did austerity measure, austerity. I'll tell you guys what it is. Anyways, that's when they started clamping down on different things, right? And you said, I'm sorry, some of my Hispanic friends thought it was black people getting their behinds kicked first. We were just used to kicks. We just find other ways from getting feet slapped. Yeah, we were the underclass for so long. That's what I'm saying. Like, we were at the bottom for so long that we knew, like, let me tell y'all something that's so unique about black people. That's one thing. And I'm sorry, I can't say other races. I can only say the race I am. This is very unique for black people, especially black women. I'm going to say especially black women because we got to remember, we're double minorities. We're women and we're black. Boom, double. So what I'm going to tell you is this. I will tell you this. We're so used to being at the bottom that we've learned how to survive. We can out-survive any race of people. You could put me in the wilderness right now, and I'm going to find a way. Because we've learned how to do it. You know how to do it. You've been doing it. Like I said before, you've been doing it. Ain't no different now. We know how to pivot. Okay, y'all don't want to hire us now? We gonna find a way. We'll find a way. Anyway, point is that very unique. We stay fighting. Survival skills. Let me tell y'all, we not gonna cry. That's not even middle class money in Canada. We're not gonna cry. Let me tell y'all, we're not gonna cry. Other races of women, I will say that. They don't, okay. I'm not saying you don't. All of you, don't get me wrong. But I'm saying that, especially if you grow up in the US of A and in Canada, especially women that don't look like us, they don't have it as, like, they have it hard, don't get me wrong, because they're women. All of us, women, period. We're all in the same basket in that. But meaning that at least they have people to protect them. We are left unprotected on top of that. On top of that. I think my cousin's watching the replay. But we are left on top of that. So we're left unprotected as in general. Obviously, I'm protected now because I got my husband and I have my daddy. So that's what I'm saying. But a lot of women don't have that. Let's just be real. A lot of black women they lack male leadership. Real male leadership. I'm being honest. So then now, we are left to survive. Most of us. We are not granted the same grace as other races of women. We are not granted the same kindness as other races of women. You make a mistake, you can't make mistakes. You can't. We're taught not to make mistakes. I'm sorry. I'm telling y'all the truth. Most black women are raised to not make mistakes. We are raised as perfectionists. Everything has to be perfect. Most of us. Okay? Most of us. I'm not saying all. So our survival game has to be on point because we don't get second chances. You don't get a second chance if you're a black woman. You don't, usually. Your first impression means everything. So what I'm trying to say is this. We've learned to survive. We're going to be all right. But the point is, neoliberalism came about in the 1980s during the Ronald Reagan era. Austerity measures were made. Redlining. That's been since before the 80s. But I'm saying that it's always been hard for you, especially if you're in the lower class, no matter what race you are, to get to the upper class. You were granted the middle class in the 60s and 70s. If you are black, you just made the middle class. Recently, you just made the middle class. Not too long ago, we couldn't even travel. Most of us couldn't afford a plane ticket to get out of our countries. Most of us, I would say those who emigrated, my people not my parents. I wouldn't say that. And even if they did, I don't really care. I can say that. Most people who migrated to the US of A, they had funds from their community. Some of them, yes, they were rich in their home country, but that's not majority of people are not elite. So I'm just going to let y'all know right now, we're the new class of black people, okay? It hasn't been that long since we were granted. I wouldn't say granted, but I say it hasn't been that long since we've been in the middle class and the upper class. It hasn't been that long. And so now, again, you have a country with a lot of billionaires. What's going to end up happening is that they're realizing that we're getting up ahead. And that's lower class people across the board. They're cutting educational programs. They're cutting federal programs. They're cutting funding. They're cutting everything from you. Everything is getting cut from you. Period. Left, right, center. It's not by happenstance. This is real. Pharaoh still exists in our day, but we've been surviving no matter what. We still here. That's a great point, her creative mind. That system, remember when it used to be the king and queens, the monarchy, and then you had the lower class people, the peasants. Then you had the bourgeoisies, and then you had the bourgeoisies against the whatever. I forgot the names. I don't know. It's escaping me right now. Now you have the billionaires versus the lower class, because middle class doesn't exist anymore. Period. It's not going to exist in a few years. It's done. When we were able to create a middle class, now there's a silo there. It's gone. Most people can't afford to live where they live. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. That's a fact. And now what's happening is that, again, with these tariffs and these different things that are coming about, I hate to say the new world order. I don't like to say it, but it's true. The new world order. This is the reset. You're not going to get much out of it. I'm telling you, people going to get laid off left and right. Let's talk about it. And the reason I've been on live this long is because I really want to make it explicitly clear to you how important it is right now for you to get your head on a swivel and start doing what you need to do. It ain't no game no more. Learn what you need to learn, save what you need to save, get where you need to go, because it's go time now. We've been practicing since 2020. Again, if you want to live abroad, you better make sure your dollar is worth more. Like, let me tell you something. When you're working in another country, you better make sure your dollar is worth more when you transfer it back to your home country, because eventually you might have to go back. Again, moving to another country is not the solution. A lot of people try to say, oh, I'm just going to move abroad. Guess what? There's permanent residency laws, and they change with every single term. Whenever the president gets into another country, I can use Korea as an example because I lived there. But we can use so many different countries. Turkey, matter of fact, recently, they started letting everybody go. They cut people's rent. One day out the blue, they were like, oh, if you live here, you got to go. Even if you're a permanent resident. They don't care. In other countries, let me tell y'all something. Even right now, the Mexican president, since we were on the topic of Mexico, she told your commander-in-chief, if he starts mass deporting people back to Mexico, she's going to start deporting Americans back to America. And some people are like, oh, well, she's just talking about illegal Americans. It don't matter what she talking about. If you're not a citizen of Mexico, you have no rights there. I'm being honest. You have rights, okay, don't get me wrong. But what I'm trying to say is the political landscape can change at any given time. It don't matter. Right now, if they do an executive order in Mexico and they say, you know what, we tired of this. We tired of this. You know what, he trying us. Please. Who he think we are? Who does he think we are? Who does he think we are? Oh, okay. We gonna send y'all behinds back. Today she could literally put down something and say, all of y'all gotta go. I'm sorry, y'all gotta go. And what you gonna do? If you decided, oh, I'm gonna escape the US and I'm gonna go to another country, and I'm not saying don't do that. Like I said, I'm a proponent. I lived abroad for 6 years, but I'm just giving y'all the real. Anything can change at any time. Period. They still haven't found out what happened to Shanquella. We're gonna get on jealousy. I'm telling you, I got videos coming up about Shanquella. That was so disturbing to me. But I'm happy her mom is civilly suing those folks, the Cabo 5 or 6, whatever their names are. Disgusting demonic behavior. Let's just put it that way. But we're gonna talk about that. Friends, fake friends. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna do research about that too. I'm telling y'all, there's a lot of fake people out there. And the people you're close to you, they're the ones who could take you out. You got to be careful about who you let in your circle. I'm telling y'all, it's always, it starts even before, look at Cain and Abel. Child, it's not even in biblical days, child. But anyway, my point is this. It's getting real. Like I think the Dub Studio just mentioned. It's getting real out here. So don't think that because you're moving to another country, you can escape what's going on in your home country. Because you never know when the country where you're a guest, unless you have citizenship, you're always a guest. Let's keep it real. Unless you have citizenship, you are a guest. You better hope once you get citizenship, that's when you could have the rights, the full rights as anyone. When you are a PR, remember, you got to renew it. And they could change permanent residency rules at the drop of a dime. So don't think you're going to stay abroad forever. You're going to be hot now. Oh, I'm going to wait for the next 4 years. You better prepare for a contingency plan in case if you're living abroad, if you have to go back to America for whatever reason, you better have a contingency plan. And if you're in America and you're planning on moving abroad, you better have a contingency plan if you ever got to go back. And if you're in America right now, North America, you better have a contingency plan for the next few years because it's going to get real, real, real. Americans visiting or living in certain countries got to be careful these days. I'm telling y'all, the block is hot. The block is hot. And I was watching a girl, I forgot her name on TikTok, but she said that recently she's been getting a lot of hate comments from people talking about go back to your country. I'm telling y'all, it's whatever your country does, if it's seen in a negative light, it affects people outside of that country, outside of your country. So if you're seen in a negative light, people are going to start. I remember, let me give y'all an example. Dom's still not here. We're going to still keep cooking. When Canada had okay, I'm going to tell y'all what happened between Canada and China. We had a big beef with China. Because what happened was that some type of privacy, I don't remember what happened, but the woman who was running Huawei, the telephone company or whatever, she had an indictment in the US. Oh, no, was it in Canada? I don't remember where she was. Let me see if I can find the story. But you're right. I feel like the world is becoming nativist. Yep, people are going to feel pressure to return to their place of origin. Yeah, because it's going to force them to. But I'm going to get to that at the Dub Studio. What I'm going to say is this. The Huawei lady, I don't remember her name, the CEO. I think Canada had asked for her to get extradited. And China said to Canada, y'all better not extradite her. Y'all better let her go back to China. And Canada doubled down and said, nope, we're going to keep her here because I don't know what she did. She did something. Let me look her up. Huawei and Canada. So it was, not Hawaii, y'all. How you spell Huawei, the phone company? Hawaii. How do you spell that? Hold on a second, y'all. Anyway, I'm gonna tell y'all the story from what I remember. It was a few years ago. Huawei executive in Canada. Let me put executive. I think she was the founder. I don't remember her name, y'all. Hawaii. Thank you. I know this is terrible. I should know the spelling. Oh, her name is Meng Wanzhou. Okay. Let's read this because y'all know I like to read. Let me be Mother Goose today. We're gonna read it together. So here, let me check the time. Okay, it's 8:23. The Meng Wanzhou Huawei saga, a timeline. Canadians, I'm going to tell y'all what happened. So more than 2 years ago, so this article was written in 2021. So this happened in 2019. More than 2 years ago, around that time, Canadian police acted on a U.S. warrant and arrested Meng Wanzhou while she was changing planes at the Vancouver International Airport. Since then, the high-profile case involving the Huawei executive's extradition has caused heightened tensions and strained relations between China, Canada, and its allies. Now that Meng, who is the daughter of a tech giant's billionaire founder, Ren Zhengfei, has entered into a deferred prosecution agreement with the U.S. government, her extradition can be dropped. But it remains unclear what that means for Canadians Michael Spavor, I'm going to explain who they are, and Michael Korvig, who were detained in China just days after Meng's arrest in what was widely seen as an act of retaliation. Here's a timeline of how the saga unfolded. Let me tell y'all something. That lady, first of all, it wasn't even our beef. We was doing a solid. Let me tell y'all, we was doing the U.S. a solid. We're like, okay, y'all want her? She came to Vancouver Airport. Y'all had a warrant for her. Okay, we're going to send her back. We ain't even had nothing to do with it. Canada had nothing to do with it. But because we were friends with the U.S., we're like, okay, you know what we're going to do? Do y'all one solid? We see she got a warrant. Call the U.S. I'll be like, y'all really want her? Yeah, we want her. We want her. Because, you know, they always got beef with China some kind of way. And I think your president right now was the president. Let's check. Who was the president of the United States when Meng Zhang, I forgot her name. Oh, Meng Wanzhou, sorry. Sorry, y'all, if y'all are Chinese and I can't say the name. No, Wanzhou, I think, was arrested. Yup, I think he was, because I got to see when she was arrested. Yup, Donald Trump. Booyah. Thank you. Trump was the president at that time. Canada helped them out. Was like, okay, we got one of y'all. Y'all got a warrant on her. We're going to send her back. All right, cool. Do y'all one solid. China said, if y'all send her back, y'all going to see. So, Canada sent her back to the U.S. China took two, I think they were diplomats or people who were in China at the time. Hold on. Michael, who are they? Hold on, I'm going to tell y'all. Hold on. Let me finish reading. Yup, she was arrested in 2018, December 1st. Then Michael Skorvig, one was a Canadian diplomat, a former one. And I think the other one was an entrepreneur. He wasn't even a diplomat. He was just a business person that's there on business. China said, y'all two, I don't know how they picked them. They maybe saw them walking down the street minding their own business. They snatched them up and they were like, okay, y'all going to jail. I don't care what your residency is. I don't care if you have permanent residency here. I don't care if you're here legally. We're going to charge y'all with espionage or some type of conspiracy because y'all spying on because they wanted their person back. My point is this. It doesn't matter where you go. If the tides turn, and I'm glad y'all brought up that comment, if the tides turn and they don't like you anymore, your country folk, they don't like y'all, you're going to feel the repercussions if you're abroad. Period. You're going to start hearing anti-blank rhetoric. Or the whoever's in political power will make it hard for you. So what I'm trying to say is this. Always keep your head on a swivel if you're abroad. I'm not saying you have to move back home. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you shouldn't think that moving abroad is the only solution, is my point. You got to have contingency plans. That's the whole point of this whole conversation. Whole life is about that. You can't think you're going to escape. You can't escape your country. I thought I could do it too, guys. I thought so too. I want to live abroad. I want to do different things. I want to do that. Don't get me wrong. I did it. I loved it. My experience was amazing. Well, most of it amazing anyways. But I'm going to tell y'all something. Oh, don't worry, y'all. Sandra's not laughing because of that. She laughing about other stuff. But anyways. What are you talking? I think you're watching the replay. But what I'm trying to say is this. Don't think you can escape your circumstances that easily, especially if you're a citizen. Your citizenship is tied to a country. Just remember, wherever you are, whatever country you are, that's where you belong. That's where they're going to send you. And this is the problem now. So now, birthright. Y'all heard about that whole thing, right? I don't know what y'all think about it. But just keep your head on a swivel because that's coming up soon. And again, it got blocked by the Supreme Court from what I heard, or something, or some justice. Listen, I don't have time to explain everything like that, but all I know is, from what I know, I can give you the synopsis. If you're, anyway, I'll just leave it at that. What I will say is this, like, right now, just be careful, y'all. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful. I know it's late for some of y'all. It's probably almost midnight. I know. I'm sorry. I kept y'all up late. I might get going soon. But what I would say is one last parting word. And y'all could watch the replay because I'm not going to be here next week. One last parting word. We talked about different things. But if you're single, if you are a single woman right now, single as a Pringle, single. I'm talking to my single ladies now, and I'm going to talk to y'all married ladies after. If you are single, please be careful who you date. Right now is more, you don't have time to play around right now. Right now, if you get into a relationship, you start dating, I'm not saying please, by all means, you should be still living your life, still doing what you need to do. That don't stop for nobody. Because at the end of the day, what you gonna do? You can't stop your life. You're gonna keep going after your goals. You're gonna keep doing stuff. You're gonna keep dating, doing whatever. But please be careful who you entertain. Please be careful who you fall in love with. Please be careful who you decide to lay up with. Now's not the time to be playing games. Now's not the time to be choosing the wrong guys. Now's not the time to be dating losers. Now's not the time. Please don't. Now's not the time. If you're gonna date somebody, you better be, and again, I'm gonna promote it. I'm gonna say it. You better be dating for something serious. You better be dating for something serious. You have no more time to waste. Period. You have no more time to waste. Liabilities. Let me tell y'all, every decision you make right now is going to affect you 10 years, 20 years right now. And right now is not the time to be playing Barbara the Builder. You don't have money or the funds for it. You don't. Because you might not, let me tell you, if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you're one paycheck away from sleeping on the streets. Just letting you know. Because at any time, gone. They're already cutting. They start with the funding for federal programs. And Canada's not exempt. I don't know what's going on in everything that the U.S. is doing. Like I said, I know some people hate when I say it. And they'll be like, oh, I remember one time I made a live and somebody said, you lot think that I think they were British because only British people say you lot. But they said, you lot think you're the center of the world. I'm like, no, we don't. Like, I don't think Americans are very selfish. Not y'all, but a lot of Americans do have a selfish mindset, but this is reality. As somebody who studied global politics, what you do affects the whole world because that's the way it's set up. So if your country starts to crumble, we're dependent on y'all, a lot of us. That's the problem. And now people are forming their alliances with BRICS and South Africa, whatever. Everybody's trying to do their own little alliances. But the US dollar, we just saw that earlier, is still very strong compared to other countries, except the euro. But guess what? US is one country. Europe has many countries. And even then, they had to do many countries in the European Union in order to be stronger than your dollar. But you are one country. Just listen, just think about that. If the US starts to be protectionist and they start to get rid of all of these, and start tariffing all of the programs within your country alone, a lot of government programs are being cut. That means teachers. Government, I don't think y'all realize how much is dependent on governments. Teachers. Federal workers. A lot of those jobs are going to get cut. If they decide to impose tariffs on my country, Canada, they said, let me show y'all. Even in my province, just my province, BC, American tariff. Oops. I'm going to tell y'all what it is right now. This is how dire it is right now. Our premier told us not to travel to America. Straight up. He said, if you can avoid it, please do. He told us that. He said that. Okay? And they're already starting to gather and say that they're starting to just shift things away from the USA. And this is happening. Them cops need to be first. Yeah. Girl, you know they ain't never gonna be first. Those are the you know they gonna be enforcers. They gotta keep you in line. They should be, but watch, their pension's gonna go higher. They're gonna get better raises. They're not gonna get rid of them. Let me see. Jobs. I'm gonna tell y'all what's going on. Let me tell y'all, this was as of January 17th. 136,000 BC jobs are directly tied to U.S. demands for goods. It highlights the provinces. Look at this. A new report from the Business Council of BC highlights the province's serious economic consequences if U.S. President-elect Donald Trump follows through with his tariff threat. The report states that U.S. is BC's biggest trading partner. Between January and November of 2024, the province exported $26.4 billion of goods, mainly through its energy and forestry minerals. People gonna be losing their jobs in this province. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give y'all some intel. My job currently has a hiring freeze. I think I told y'all last week. That's how it starts. If this goes through, a lot of people losing their jobs here. So that's why I'm being very transparent when I tell y'all. It's going to make people lose a lot of jobs. And I'm telling y'all right now, other countries are going to feel it. If you're from a country that is dependent on American goods, or if you're from a country that is, and this is 136,000, we don't know. It could be more than that. They're just giving estimates. These are all estimates. So right now Canada's scrambling and they're trying to find different trade partners and all that stuff, but the damage is going to be done if he enforces it. And even if he doesn't, because he made that threat, people don't like to be threatened, just letting y'all know. We don't like that, especially in Canada. We're very prideful people. Don't threaten us, because we're going to start retaliating. That's what I'm saying. So it's like people are already, even if the threat doesn't go, even if he doesn't do the damage is done, because they know they can't trust him. You can't. This is the thing. Because people be like, oh, don't take him seriously. He's just talking. No, words mean something. I'm tired of that behavior. Just letting y'all know. Dom's still not here. I'm going to keep talking until he comes here now. I changed my mind again. Let me tell you. Words mean something. Words mean something. If somebody want to play with you, and they keep telling you something, and it's a guy's threat because they're trying to manipulate you to do something, eventually you're going to get tired of that person threatening you. Imagine it. Imagine if you live somewhere and your landlord's telling you, oh, I'm going to increase the rent. Oh, I'm going to increase the rent by $500. Every day you get to the front of your house, every week he coming with the same story. I'm going to increase you think I'm going to be like, oh, he just playing. Please. I'm going to be already looking for a new rental place. I'm not playing with you. Oh, you threatening me? I'm out. Because I don't know anyone who feels like they're getting threatened and is just gonna be like, oh, he's just playing. Oh, he's just talking. Oh, y'all know he's crazy. No, he's not crazy. He's real. How many times y'all seen the men will tell women something, and they'll be like, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna do whatever to you, and they'll be like, oh, he's just playing. And then one day he's not gonna play no more. He's just gonna do it because you entertained it for long enough. You need to learn how to go, and that's what I'm saying. There's only so much a country will do. Every country is starting to get their gears up. And they're like, oh, okay, you want to play around? We ain't playing around. You know, it's crazy. I feel like because the U.S. is in so much debt. Yep, he's trying to get money from everybody and anywhere as well. He is. And I understand because, I like I said, we gonna talk about that in another video. I'm gathering my intel. But y'all gotta remember, every few centuries, this is a pattern. This is not nothing that has not been done before. And they keep talking about the Roman Empire that fell. I'm gonna bring something closer to home. Soviet Union fell too. Every empire has its day. It can't be forever. There's always British Empire. Remember, the sun doesn't rise. What? Let me find the saying. Sun doesn't rise on the British. I forgot the name. If you're Brit, you'll know what it means. Let me see the saying. It says, the empire that never sets. The sun doesn't set. Thank you. On the British Empire. They were big at one point. And then people from their country retaliated and overthrew them. And then those people became the biggest ones. Portugal. Let's talk about it. Every country has its day. It doesn't matter. So my point is this. This is not to fearmonger y'all, because God is always in control. Amen. That's amazing. That's one thing you ain't got to worry about. He got you. Everything has to happen the way that it does. It's not by design. I mean, it's by design. But my point is, we're still living in this world. We're still here. So again, my point is, make good financial choices. Don't date a dusty. It's not the time to be giving people chances that don't need to be given a chance. Don't surround yourself by people who don't have your best interest. Cut them off immediately. You don't have time. You don't have time anymore. Any friends that are shysty, cut them off. Family shysty, cut them off. It's already done. Finished. People who borrow money from you all the time, never pay you back, cut them off immediately. You ain't got it. Done. Employers not treating you right now, try to find another job. I know it's hard in this economy. If you can't, take as much money as you can and just do what you gotta do. Let's just put it that way until you can leave. Stop entertaining people. It's not the time. Start saving money. Start trying to find little ways to maximize, cut the streaming services. Only keep one, maybe two. Y'all don't need all that. I know some people got Disney Plus, Netflix. Why y'all need all that? Why? You're barely using it anyways. I got Netflix. You want to know? Ooh, another trick. The streaming services are getting higher, right? Everything is going up. Prices are going up. We already know that, right? And they probably going to go up more, especially because every country is being protectionist now because, again, of your commander-in-chief, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know the reason I have Netflix still is because I got it through a cable company. And I got my internet and cable bundled together. And they gave me one primary streaming channel. And then they gave me Netflix. So why don't you do that? You can bundle it up and get super cheap deals. Like, I don't know. That's worked for me. I got my internet and my TV for the low. And I got really high-speed internet. So y'all should do that. I only need my YouTube and I'm happy. Yeah, choose one. You don't need to stream. Some people got like 5-6 streams. You don't need it. You really don't. Start using free subscription services. And then also for books. I know me too. I got used to Kindle. I ain't gonna lie, but start buying paperback books. Go to your thrift store. Y'all know how many books I got from the thrift store? If you need, I know some people don't like to buy secondhand clothes. And thank you for supporting YouTube, by the way, because then you support me. I know mad people that go to the thrift store. All right? Just remember, thrift store. You don't have to buy. I know some people don't like to buy secondhand clothes. You can go, if you're a little bougie, let's just put it this way. If you bougie and you don't like to buy secondhand clothes, that's fine. You don't need to. But the thrift store has other things other than clothes. Y'all know that, right? They got things other than clothes. You don't need to buy clothes from the thrift store. And matter of fact, I'll tell y'all, thrift stores got something. You got to go to the wealthy neighborhoods. That's where you're going to find the good stuff. Just FYI, if you're into thrifting, go to the wealthy neighborhoods. Go to the wealthy neighborhoods. Go to a consignment shop. Go to a pawn shop. I'm telling y'all, you really don't have to do much. And another thing, one other thing I was going to say. Oh, yeah. Thrift stores, books. Sometimes they give them away for free and they're good. But let me show y'all. Y'all think I'm playing. Your girl goes thrifting. Not all my books are from the thrift store though, but I'm going to tell y'all what I done bought from the thrift store. I got a whole, let me show y'all. Is it this one? Hold on. Where'd I put my books from the thrift store? But this, thrift store, look, $4. Y'all think I'm playing? Thrift store. I think I bought this for $1 or something. No, I lied. $3.95. Let me find my other thrift store books. Thrift store. $32.90. No, that's not what I paid for. I paid way less than that. Hold on. I did not buy it for $32.99. I bought it for like $4 or something. That's not the right price. This one I bought at the bookstore. Look at all these books. I think I got this from a thrift store too. Yeah, this one I got from a thrift store. This one. Let me show y'all. Thrift store. I got way more books. I'm trying to find them. Y'all know I packed a whole bunch of stuff. Thrift store. Hold on. Where are my books at? I had a whole bunch of books I could show y'all. Anyway, they're probably in here somewhere. I don't know where I put them. Oh, they're in the box. Okay. Y'all, I got books galore from the thrift store. Also try the paperback version. Yes, it is easier to carry. Oh, Sandra said you always been a bookworm. Yes, yes, cuz I still am. Paperback is easy to carry. 100%. They have paperback books. They even give you free books. If you're in Canada, if you're in Victoria, they have these book nooks. You can literally get free books outside. Just grab them. You just gotta, when you finish reading them, you go back, you replace them with another book, whatever. Anyways, they have book sharing. Please stop buying your books online electronically. Or if you do, I forgot, this one girl told me a way you could do it. But if you're not supporting Amazon, because Amazon is anti-DEI, by the way, y'all, just letting y'all know that. And also, it's not even just anti-DEI. They also do not pay their workers that well. And also, they're making you pay a lot for the streaming services that's not even worth anything anymore. So please, you don't need to. Anyway, done. So buy your books, please. Start buying books, start educating yourself. I know I'm not supposed to promote other apps on here, but go to the Clock app. Sometimes people have some good things to do. Go to YouTube. There's a lot of free videos. Yeah, they work those people like, girl, more than that. And by the way, Ashley Rose 91, I'm glad you said that. Let me tell y'all something about the Amazon company in Quebec. So what happened is Amazon Canada, let's let y'all know. In Quebec, I don't remember, I think it's in Montreal. I don't remember which city. But recently, one of the Amazon facility centers got unionized because, you know, here in this country, we believe in unions. That's why we pay so much taxes, because of unions, because of healthcare. We have universal healthcare, because of so many things. So yeah, I don't think people are opposed to paying a lot of taxes. The problem right now is that we're not seeing it reflected in our services. And I think that's why people are getting angry in Canada. But best believe, no matter how high the taxes are, I'm still thankful because I can get services that other people have to pay for. And I'm still paying for it, but it's universal, like I said, right? Oh, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, go to bed. I know it's late, y'all. It's late. Please catch the replay if you can't hang. I understand that. I have Kobo and Bard from the library. Thank you for saying that. Yes. Thank you, sis. You can borrow from the library, and they have electronic books too. That's what a lot of my coworkers do that. What they do is that they go to the library, they borrow the book, they read it within a certain amount of time, and then they put it back. And that's how you can, I'm telling y'all, that's how a lot of my friends do it. Non-black friends. When they need to read a book, they go to the library or they go to the thrift store. That's what they do over here anyways. And so what I was going to say, and Kobo is Canadian, by the way. So if y'all want to support Canada, shameless plug, get a Kobo. Anywho, what I was going to say is this. Amazon decided to unionize in Quebec. Guess what they did? Y'all want to know? The workers decided to unionize because they were like, these are unfair conditions. So they recently unionized. And let me tell y'all what happened. I'm going to tell y'all. Hold on. It's all in French. But let me try to... Let's go to CTV News because this is in English. They decided to close it down. Close all the shops in Quebec. What will happen to Quebec's 7 Amazon warehouses? Amazon will cease operations at 7 warehouses in Quebec. So what will happen to these massive buildings that sit on large parcels of land? And then here, Amazon does not own the 2 buildings in Lachine. Lachine is where I used to work a long time ago, blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm going to explain to y'all in just real talk. People started to unionize in Quebec because y'all got to remember, unions are big in Quebec. Canadian history lesson right now. I'm telling y'all all the gems a little bit right now. Canadian history lesson. Quebec is a very highly unionized province. Most of our provinces are, but especially Quebec. Remember, their history is from the French. Most people in Quebec have French lineage. And if y'all know, égalité, fraternité, liberté, equality, fraternity, liberty. That's how they overthrew, what's her name? Marie Antoinette and all them royal, whatever. So now you got people from that history living in Quebec. So they were like, wait, we're doing all this and we're not unionized? We need to protect ourselves. Created a union. Just created a union. Amazon decided to shut the stores down in Quebec. Now thousands of people are losing their jobs. All because they decided to stand up for themselves and decided to have fair wages, unionized. This is what's happening. They don't want you to have the power anymore. And I'm talking about specifically in certain, like I said. So if power to the people, we've heard that so many times. They're removing it. Unions. Because they wanted to unionize, Amazon said, nope. All right, no thank you. We're going to just remove our operations. And this is what happens when you're dependent on, you have all your eggs in one basket. Dom is here now. I'm going to end it now. I think I've talked long enough. Let me put how many people going to lose their job. Hi, honey. I told the chat I was going to end when you came back. So, Dom said, Jesus Christ. Hold on. How many Amazon? I'm going to go, Jesus Christ. I'm about to leave soon, but y'all going to catch the replay for next week. I'm dead serious. I went through a lot of knowledge with a lot of different tips. How many Amazon workers?
You say you just gonna talk normal.
DG said in Laval. My cousin Ivodi, the one DG30. Oh, Sandra said hi, honey. DG30, Ivodi. She's my cousin living in Montreal. This was in Laval. It was Laval, Lachine, and other places. I'm gonna tell you how many workers are said to lose their jobs, honey. You'd be surprised I be chatting that much. I chatted so much my lips are chappy, but I got important things to say.
How many hours?
I think this is 3 hours. I think you've been away.
More than 3 hours.
It's been it's been longer? I don't know. I feel like I talk forever. Okay. So it says Amazon Canada will close all 7 of its facilities in Quebec over the next couple of months. The company announced Wednesday. Out of the blue, by the way, y'all. Her hubby is home. Great. Yeah, good night, y'all. I'm leaving. 1,950 workers. Okay? They even have it higher. Nearly 2,000 employees going to lose their jobs in this job market. And mind you, they probably already had low wages, no pension, no benefits, all that stuff. So now they got to go on unemployment. And unemployment doesn't give you that much, letting y'all know. Especially if you own a home, if you have a mortgage. Good luck. Anyway. Girl, you have the gift of gab. I love your talks. Thank you for all the good info. No problem, y'all. I'm about to head out. I know it's late for y'all, but last parting words. Last parting words for y'all. And I'm going to see y'all in a week. Last parting words. Don't be afraid. Everything is going so quickly. I understand that. Have a good night, y'all. Have a good night. Everything is going so quickly. And things are going to come out that are going to scare you. Night, Sela. Night, night. I'm leaving now. Things are going to come out that are going to scare you. And that's okay. You just going to be prepared. Be prepared like Scar said on Lion King. And that's a wrap. So I'm going to say bye to y'all right now, honey. Can you come and say bye to them? Because we're not going to see them in a week. No, come here.
I'm totally
Oh, he's wet. Okay, bon nuit, guys. Bye. Good night, y'all. We going to be all right. Yes, Kendrick said that. Listen to Kendrick Lamar. Anyways, night, y'all. I will see y'all in a week. I done talked a lot. See y'all in a good week. Bye, y'all.